This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, there's an H here, but it's definitely an L. We're talking about Stone Cold. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Stone Cold Steve Zadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Josh Lewis.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. This week, I feel like it's a long time coming. It's 1991 Stone Cold, directed by Craig R. Baxley, director of previous episode I Come in Peace and The Great Action Jackson. And here to talk about it, Sleazoid Podcast's own Josh Lewis. Back to the program. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing wonderful. I am glad that we can finally spread the good word of the Boz this week.
Have you heard the good word?
This was your pick, man. So, floor is yours. What is your history with this film? How'd you first come to it?
I had a friend recommend this to me on a whim. I just said I was looking for something short and trashy, and I had my mind absolutely melted by this thing out of nowhere. I was like, who is this beefcake flame out football player? Why does he have a Komodo dragon as a pet? Why is he the worst cop in the universe doing some of the most ambitiously scaled destruction for a movie on its budget level? And ever since, it's been one of my go-to movies to show to people, because it's like, if no one has heard of it, and anytime you throw it on, everyone leaves the movie like, why have I never heard of that?
It's a great question. And it's pretty disgusting that it's really not available anywhere. Like we were saying before we went on the air, there is an olive Blu-ray. So if you want to go overseas ordering, you can do that. But, you know, folks at like Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome, maybe listen to this episode. Be reminded of the magic of Stone Cold.
Where's Olive Blu-ray from? Is that like Italy?
I'm actually not sure, but I have it, and it's region free. So
that's great.
That's
Great
cool.
to know.
That's good to know. I think Olive's UK.
I remember this movie coming out as a kid. Like, I just know, like, thinking that it was a real movie. Like, oh, people are really excited about Stone Cold. And I think it was like an HBO movie too. Like, maybe it was on rotation there.
It definitely
Possibly.
was.
Yeah.
I get, if it was, I somehow was just never at the TV to watch it, because this was my first go at it, and this movie's fucking fantastic. I had a blast with this, and I really wish I had this as a kid, because I would have been a biker gang guy by now, I think.
Oh, definitely. You'd be a hard as nails biker.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, with a one word name like Vitamin or Trouble
exactly.
or Tool.
So Steve, what is the Brian Bosworth deal? So he was a football player. Was it in Seattle for a fashion?
Yeah, apparently
Played for the
Seahawks? He was like a hot shit college football player, and I guess like because
Oklahoma.
because he was like good looking, and like he had the nickname the Boz, and like had some like on field antics, etc. He did go to the NFL for only 2 or 3 years, but his shoulder was dog shit, and then like that was it. And then like they were like, he became like a movie star.
He also had a huge larger than life persona, and he literally called it pressing the Boz button when he would get on the field. There's this great documentary for anyone who's interested in actually exploring more of him later called Brian and the Boz that ESPN did in like 2014. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
He essentially walks you through his football career as if it's like this tragic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. And he's like, it all stemmed from the rocky relationship with my dad, who pushed me too hard, and I had to become like this self-marketed, branded persona that loved the camera and had a hairstylist and like, you know, wore a shirt that said the NCAA was national communists against athletes. And he was just like an absolute madman, alienated all of the people on his team, alienated his coach, eventually got suspended for steroid use and tried to sue the NFL to like get the, the numbers that he wanted. He was just like a crazy dude, and he just loved playing to the camera.
Well, that's why every time we go on, I press the Sag button. You know what I mean? And it's just like, fucking look out, because this is. It is.
Yeah.
Just
Pressing
enjoy the ride.
Sag button, dude. That's what you're calling jerking off these days.
Just to remind everybody that there is a J there, because they all forget. So here's the way you're going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I realized too, I was sort of mashing up this movie with another totally underseen classic, The Taking of Beverly Hills.
Yes.
With another
man.
dude who was like a pro athlete, career-ending something injury, and then he's just in that movie. And I think that guy definitely has fewer movies than the Boz even got.
Oh,
this is kind
for
of
sure.
this is a nice little comfortable direct to DVD, direct to video career here. Although I think this was theatrically released.
There should be more like athletes today, kids out there. If you're playing ball right now, try to get into some weird scuzzy underground movie making or something.
We need it.
We do need it, because Taking Beverly Hills is also a fun ass time.
What is kind of wild about this movie is because it's like, you know, it is just sort of like, it was billed as like the Boz is coming on the screen. You know what I mean? Like for whomever would give a shit.
Yikes.
But it is absolutely. Lance Henriksen was so game to be in this movie. Like you'd think like, I'll be the bad guy in the athlete fucking movie that no one's going to see. He is so stoked to be in Stone Cold.
I think he signed before everybody else. I think he might have been the first one to sign, because he's got that energy. Like he really does. Like he's keyed into this guy from the minute even more than Bosworth. And I kind of wish I had seen Bosworth as a kid, because I prefer him to Seagal, if I'm being 100% correct.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
I guess I would
way more
agree.
energy. Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, the Boz has not had, and I didn't see the documentary on ESPN, but as far as I know, the Boz never had a sex dungeon in his house, and is no friend of Russia.
Okay, now I don't like
off.
him anymore. Yeah, I don't like Bosworth anymore now. But Lance Henriksen is like really bringing it, to your point, and he's making it his movie almost. It's that tug of war here.
Well, and speaking of Seagal, William Forsythe is his underling, and William Forsythe the same year as Out for Justice, and he's basically doing like the same kind of sweaty, murderous, like angsty rage kind of a character, but he gets to fill it with a little bit, because I know Seagal cut like 50% of his role as a producer when they were making that film, because he was out acting him. So here's like William Forsythe just unleashed and getting to like, him and Henriksen, they go in a scene together. They are playing this like, they're bringing history and emotion to characters that's not written for them. It's kind of incredible
Heat
to
and
watch.
romance. Heat and romance to these roles. It's unbelievable when they, and I gotta say, I really prefer this fat, angry, sweaty Forsythe to the cut we get in like The Rock when he's slimmed down a bit. This is just phenomenal. This mouth he's got.
The words right out of my mouth, Chris. He, in the late 80s and early 90s, he looked like absolute shit, and he was bringing it.
Yes.
And then he just
Extreme
kind of calmed
prejudice.
down, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he was unhinged in Out for Justice and this. It's beautiful to see him go this like fat diamond no here, you know?
And Raising Arizona as well, obviously.
He's very disgusting in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, because Forsythe had the upper hand when you had to look scuzzy, because he already kind of looks like a human pig man. And in this movie, like the wig that he's got, it's disgusting. I mean, the guy is just like oozing sleaze in all the best ways. Is Out for Justice the one where Forsythe pulls the dude out of the car and shoots him in the head?
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the funniest things you'll ever see.
By the way,
William
this is a
attempt.
Raising Arizona reunion of sorts, because the guy who plays Lance, Sam McMurray, was Glenn in Raising Arizona, like the shitty neighbor parent guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember him as the shitty dad from Freaks and Geeks. That's what I always think of him from.
A little weekend homework for everybody. Lance Henriksen and William Forsythe were also in a movie from 1985, a biker action movie called Savage Dawn, with George Kennedy, Richard Lynch, and Karen Black as well. So,
wow. Is that adapted from the Turner Diaries or what?
A vicious biker gang is intent on destroying a small town in Arizona. A war veteran visiting an old friend, with a few locals with nothing to lose, go to war with the gang's ruthless leader. So yes,
I love these movies set in like Arizona, small like Mississippi. Andrew, I think you were texting about it earlier today about how this is like you don't see a lot of movies set in places like this.
No, you definitely don't. And that's what we were saying. The other Craig R. Baxley film that we've done, I Come in Peace with Dolph Lundgren.
Great movie.
That's set in like Dallas or some shit.
Houston, I think.
Oh, Houston. Yeah, you're right. Houston. And it's just like, all right. Yeah, nothing against the town, but they're not really like movie towns.
They got that and Sidekicks.
Oh, that's right.
Those big hits.
I'm not paid by the movie Savage Dawn. However, William Forsythe's character theme is Pig Iron. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh, yeah,
Pig
it
Iron.
is.
Well, I mean, either we are going to do it or Josh is going to do it. So at some point, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm glad you guys brought up I Come in Peace, because we've covered that on the show too, because we did a whole Dolph Lundgren month at one point, and it was a wonderful going through like some of the B-sides. Like he did a Russell Mulcahy sniper movie that's almost like a direct-to-video Joseph von Sternberg movie called Silent Trigger. Never heard of it before we did it, and I was like blown away. But I Come in Peace was also a weird one, because if I'm correct, is that the one where the alien, he shoots like a wristband that has like CDs?
CDs.
And there's POV shots of the CDs like flying around and going into people's throats. Like it's nuts.
Just
Beautiful.
Amazing.
I'm definitely due for a rewatch of that, because I'm pretty sure that's like one of the first like 20 episodes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And to give you an idea, this will be episode 630 something. So long time away from I Come in Peace, but fantastic film. Now this movie starts off really great cold open here. We got the Boz. He's just trying to shop at the grocery store. I love this whole thing.
This outfit.
These guys, whole outfit robbing a grocery store.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's a scene that in any other movie in the history of cinema would take place in a bank, and this is a grocery store. And I think it's because
the bank said
we
no?
couldn't figure out. Yeah, the bank said no. We couldn't figure out filming at the bank. It's a bank robbery scene.
Well,
pretty much.
But we love doing this though. Cobra starts with a market raid. One of the Seagal ones opens with a market raid. Like we did, like
it's the war on domesticity. A maniac sweating and firing a machine gun into Ritz crackers boxes. That's the most evil thing. It's an assault.
This guy's
on
got
America.
a waterfall of sweat coming off this guy. He's got the coke sweat of 10 coke addicts. It's incredible.
I just want to say that the Boz probably elevates this to a level it doesn't need to go to. Like I think they might leave when they get the money. Like, they're shooting a bunch of it starts, the guy shoots up a bunch of Ritz crackers and another guy goes, I love it, which I love. But he kind of sort of takes this girl with the headgear braces on hostage. But I think that's only when the Boz escalates things. I think if they, you know what I mean? Sometimes just let these guys get in and get out and get their fucking crank money and move on.
I also love that he doesn't like arrive at the scene as a cop. He's already been suspended for insubordination. And he's just by happenstance, he's going for like a late night snack run in this massive black leather duster and the dirty blonde mullet. And he just happens to be in the room just eating a cookie.
That
when
shows
people
you
are
the crime, the exploding crime rates, my lord. By the way, that duster, I love it so much. It's got those giant like shoulder pads. He looks like a vampire from space in this thing.
It's very it would fit well in like Outworld. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like Kano would be like, oh, cool jacket, dude. Nice.
Any of these guys, like you bring Chains, Lance Henriksen to Outworld to fight in Mortal Kombat. I'm like, I see why he's here.
Oh yeah,
it makes sense.
You could take on a Cyrax very easily. And I don't know if we can properly sell this haircut he's got in this movie. It's as if he actually skinned a skunk and put it on his head. Like just put like old fashioned making a hat out of a raccoon type thing. But you just skinned an entire skunk and put it on your head.
It's two-toned, it's a bright blonde shock mohawky kind of thing and the brown sides, but the back of it goes in on itself. It's not allowed to flow like a waterfall. It's always like coiled like a snake.
Well, because you have the white. You have to get the white there. That's a second layer you're getting down there. Yes. And I think that makes it so you can't even get much sweat going. There are a lot of times in this movie where you would think that thing would be just a mop and just drenching shit. But
So
no,
you're
it
saying
keeps.
it sounds you're describing like a mullet designed by NASA.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
you're talking about the fucking like aerodynamics of this mullet.
There was there had to be a mullet engineer on. I mean, most of the money is on screen. I gotta say, with this one, all the explosions, they really do. They put it on there, and I think a lot of it had to do with this haircut and people just managing it day to day.
Yeah.
Well, it's very important because you get a look at this mullet and immediately you are like, oh, I know what this movie is. I know exactly the tone of this movie, possibly even how long the movie's going to be without looking at the timeline. Like, oh, look at that mullet. It's a movie that's under 97 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite quality about even throwing on a Baxley movie sometimes is he was very famous for coming in late to a project and literally just stripping it as much as he could. And quite famously, actually, Boz even like did a Q&A for this where he said that they used $4 million of their budget before he got on to shoot a bunch of stuff with like a sister and like a family, and he had a huge backstory. And Craig R. Baxley came in and just literally, he's like, yeah, I'm not using any of that footage. We
Thank
are just
God.
starting from scratch. And
Yeah.
the original film, I think, was supposed to be Bruce Malmuth, who did Seagal's Hard to Kill and Nighthawks with Stallone and
Good movie.
Rutger Hauer, which is one of the weirder like crosses between 70s crime actioners and like the more incoherent, bigger 80s stuff where like the climax for some reason is Stallone like cross-dressing to eliminate Rutger Hauer by the end in like the big shootout. And either way, Bruce Malmuth, I'm not sure exactly why he was fired, but Craig R. Baxley, who was just this like legendary a stunt coordinator who worked with Walter Hill and McTiernan, and I think got started directing, doing a bunch of episodes of the A-Team. And he was, and also it's worth noting, and you can tell in this film, he was also himself just a stunt driver.
Yeah.
He loved flipping cars and riding motorcycles. And so when they brought him onto this film, they were like, that's very clearly the stuff that he does well. Let's write a movie around just getting me to all of those sequences. And they did it pretty
Bless them.
successfully.
Yeah, thank
bless
God.
them
I
for
mean,
that.
If they did the family angle, it would be bogged down. This wouldn't be the monumental legend that it is because it would be like every other action movie. This movie is benefited by not having that. We learn nothing about Joe, aka John Stone, which is an interesting choice, but I think it works.
It's more
I
of a
love it.
Ford Fairlane type situation. Like when you go to his home life, it's just comical nonsense. Like
Right.
having
Stupid pet.
having the lizard pet and making it the shake of death in the morning.
The details are just incoherent.
Yeah, it's just like whatever, man. Just
They're
do
like, that'd be
whatever.
funny.
What is this life? He's got this Komodo dragon or whatever, and then he's going to the supermarket in the middle of the night, and he's suspended from his job again.
As always.
By the way, he gets out of this situation just by hucking dudes, like grabbing guys and just flinging them like they would
Into the
be
freezers and-
frisbees. Yeah, it's just like launching men into things. And of course, the detective sets him up. He's like, "You're in suspension stone. What are you doing here?" And he's like, "What do you have to say for yourself this time?" And of course, beat cleanup on aisle 4. Boom.
Hell yeah.
Huge electric
And then-
guitar lick.
Yeah, absolutely. This guitar kicks in and you are just like ready to rock with this fucking movie. That guitar hits and you're like, oh, this is the kind of movie that like they're watching, you know, it's like the $1,000 movie on The Simpsons. Like all the bad
Yep.
TV action movies that The Simpsons are always watching. You're like, oh, fuck, I'm watching a real life version of that.
Yeah, I've
Exquisite.
always pitched this to people as it almost feels like a fake macho 80s action film that you would invent in a dream after like binging them for 24 hours straight.
Absolutely.
Like it has the recognizable beats, it's got the signifiers, it's got all the scenes and the moments, but
Right.
it is missing all of like the story that people try to write into that stuff. Or if it doesn't and it actually, you know, does follow a sort of plot trajectory, he combines them and, you know, he rips through stuff really quickly because like that guitar lick goes straight into a montage where they show you this gang and you just, it's like a series of impressions. It's insane. It's like you get all the boots and the bandanas and the terrible tattoos, the Confederate flags. They're shooting like beer cans off each other's heads and
The
blowing
William
up cars
Tell
just
thing. Yeah.
for no reason. And then you get them, I think for some reason going to a baptism and point blank shotgunning a priest through stained glass, like full wire pull and everything. And you're
this
like,
priest
why?
is handing the baby movie back to the couple that he presumably just baptized this.
Yes.
And then suddenly there's this biker with a double-barreled shotgun pointing at this guy's chest. Where did he come from? What is happening? The priest goes out the window, and the priest's death, you never know anything about besides that, but it's the major plot thing of the movie, kind of.
Objection, Your Honor. I need that scene. You know what I mean? Like, listen, we're having fun here. I like a lead movie. Like, what in the world was that?
Well, the best thing
about
it
that immediately
is
cuts to the judge, right? And the judge is like, he's been sentenced to first-degree murder, I think.
For 45 years. And my favorite thing is they cut to Lance Henriksen or it might be Will Forsythe and be like, 45 years, that's bullshit. All he did was blow away a priest in a fucking church.
Well, to be fair, this movie wants you to fill in the blanks. Use your imagination.
Sure,
a little
exactly.
bit, Chris Cabin, and I'll tell you right now, it's a fucking priest, man. It's diddling. If you shotgun a priest in the middle of a christening, that guy's a super diddler. So maybe Chains and all his buddies,
Secret
they
heroes.
were onto something.
Secret heroes.
So you're a Chain supporter. I didn't know that. Okay. Now
Chain 2024, dude.
Yeah, dude. God forgives, the Brotherhood doesn't,
Yeah.
What I love is, so that happens, and then immediately after, the judge is like, 45 years, slam. And then you see this judge on a boat, and you're like, well, this isn't going to go well.
45 years now to start my peaceful vacation.
And he just explodes. It's
great.
It's like some Dark Knight shit. It's fucking hilarious.
It's like a little rowboat too. It's not even like a big. He's just like you put like a pound of C4 on this tiny dinky boat. I'm kind of surprised it didn't sink because of the amount of explosives it must have on
Well,
it.
I'll tell you what, dudes, because William Forsythe, he gets the job done.
Yeah,
He's not going to half-ass no judge assassination. You got to make sure that dude's dead, dude. You come at a judge, you better make sure he's dead.
Well, then we get Sam. So Sam McMurray stops the Boz after he makes this shake full of fucking like, what is it? It's orange.
Oh, I got
juice.
it. I got the whole
This is
thing.
amazing.
Oh, you do?
Orange
The
juice,
smoothie here.
2 Snickers, potato chips, a banana, 2 eggs, and
Including the
Tabasco
shell.
sauce.
Including the shells.
Here's the question I had to the Boz. Like, he puts the blender on and he starts reading a newspaper. At that point, why don't you just put some of the newspaper in the fucking blender too? Why don't you just eat that or have your stupid little lizard eat it, you weirdo?
I mean, I guess he's trying to kill this thing. That's the only way this makes any sense.
Right.
He's trying. He got the pet as like from an ex-girlfriend. And he's like, here's your food, sweetheart, because this is poison to any animal alive.
Or he's trying to fucking kill that security deposit for that apartment, dude, because this thing is going to have diarrhea, fucking acid diarrhea all over this apartment once he feeds it and goes out to do his cop shit for the day.
It doesn't
That thing
even
is
want to
shitting
eat
everywhere.
it.
No,
He straight up, he refuses to eat it, and he picks him up, and he's like, "Soup's on, my man. Listen up. You're gonna have to eat your grub if you want to be a stud."
Oh man.
Yes, and he is
So
in a
good.
work. We should say he's in a workout outfit. Of course, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Looking
Yeah,
Wait, the
fantastic.
lizard?
Yeah, Sam McMurray busts him out, and then he basically he meets up with the dude who plays
Richard Gant, dude. He's the fucking coroner in Jason Goes to Hell.
as well
Yes.
as the what do you call it, substitute in the Don King substitute in Rocky 5.
Oh, that's
Wow.
right. Yeah.
Right.
That's
And-
totally right.
And the guy that says, don't hope for the credence in Big
That's right.
Lebowski.
Lebowski, one of the
Yeah.
cops.
But it's
Oh,
great
man.
because this is another dropped line where it's like, this biker gang is going. We're in Mississippi. He's in Alabama. Joe Bosworth is in Alabama, but in Mississippi, this biker gang is going crazy, and 3 religious figures have been targeted in 3 weeks. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
I think we know the other 2 probably. There's a lot of SS's on these guys' outfits.
Yeah, that's
here.
true. Yeah, I would like to see them go after a rabbi, and then also just go for a Buddhist monk. You know what I mean? Like just a Buddhist monk
sure.
with a chainsaw.
Chains, I can't believe it. I went to go set him on fire and he self-emulated. He was protesting our attack.
They're putting the monk up in a shower rink and a chainsaw starts up.
Exactly. I'd like to see this.
So what, you're pissed off that it was just 3 priests?
Well, but you don't see. You just see the
Oh,
one
I see what you're
priest go
saying.
right through the window. You don't see the rest of it.
Oh, and that's it. I got it.
They
I
definitely
got
could have included it in the 2-minute montage of showing their massacre.
Yes.
But so yeah, they're basically like, all right, man, like we need you to go undercover and infiltrate this gang. And this is a weird thing where he's like, yeah, the boss is like, I think I'm just going to ride out my 3-week suspension for, fucking the mayor's wife or whatever happened in the previous movie we didn't see. And then these dudes are like, oh, yeah, well, that suspension can go from 3 weeks to 6 months without pay because we're the FBI. And you're like, all right. I guess fine. So. I guess you really need this dude's help that desperately.
Well, we need the movie to start, Andrew. The movie is just like it's just twiddling its fingers. We have to start, and we have to get to the Brotherhood. And I have to say, one thing I like about the Brotherhood is that we're always talking about the other chapters. Mm-hmm. Like it is an actual, like it is run like a kind of a business. Like he's like, I got to talk to my Pensacola guy later today, and he's gonna like run the drugs over into like Alabama. I just like it. Also is weird that Chains Cooper, Lance Henriksen's character, he is such like a he's murderous, of course, and he's a psychopath, but like he's also like kind of all about good vibes too.
Mm-hmm. Well, he wants his guys to be having a good time.
That's biker life, dude. That's biker life.
He's dripped out in his apartment. He is zen.
Yes. That apartment, his like, I mean, it's weird because it's an apartment kind of, but it's just like a part of the hideout, which is gross because it's a biker hideout. But his little area, very nicely decorated. There's a fucking record collection, a bunch of cool lamps and whatnot.
He has to get up there by climbing a rope. Like that's the only way up.
Yep. He does. That's the way you get in and out.
That's how you keep a physique. You know what? That's how he does it.
At one point, Forsythe has to like talk to him about something. He's like, I don't know about this new recruit or whatever. And like he's sort of Nazi meditating, I guess. That's what I would call it, just because there's so much like hate in the room. But he's like, you're killing my vibes, dude. And I'm like, okay, what vibe are we going for?
I'm recharging my anti-Semitic chakra, dude. Can you give me a minute?
Can you just, you know what? You're really bumming me out. I'm trying to rewatch Triumph of the Will for the 78th time, and I'm just trying to get in my zone here. So could you please?
Hey, speaking of keeping in shape, 6:02 a.m., Sam McMurray rolls up on the Boz's apartment, and the Boz is in this fucking skimpy little black banana hammock. Look out below with this shit. Didn't expect this to be on screen.
He's looking very good, I gotta say. And of course, we get our first flash of what is some quite gratuitous nudity. Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, naked lady in the bed, and he turns to the FBI guy and is like, you ever see one of those before?
Not that kind of model.
Not as well made, which is
it's well made,
That's right.
Great.
He also really loves to just like explain basic concepts to these FBI agents. Like I love, and I mean he has to because obviously they're beta schmucks in comparison to him. And there's this great part where they literally are like, so when it comes to like taking down a biker gang, so we're gonna like have an agent. He's gonna infiltrate. He's gonna get a witness. He's gonna do a sting. And then he goes, they're not taking a prospect though. And they're like, what's a prospect?
They are really, really stupid FBI agents.
Yeah.
Like very noticeably dumb.
Hey, FBI, you know what, FBI agents? I think what we're going to have to do is put me undercover. Undercover? What's that? This is, it's when you pretend to be somebody else, but for real.
You might think that Chris is joking, but there's literally a part where he takes him to the biker tit for tat strip club, and he explains the concept of a strip club.
Yes,
he literally goes, so the truckers come here, and they look at naked ladies. Yeah,
I think he's trying to explain like the crank operation that's happening,
right? Because there's a moment in there where some guy's grabbing the girls because one of the strippers sold them bad drugs of some kind, I guess crank. So and then this is where Bosworth helps with the bar battle to start getting him into this biker group.
I'm gonna just make a guess, and I'll never know this because Forsythe guarantee you doesn't remember it. I think he looks like a grown-up version of Bam Bam is absolutely a William Forsythe ad-lib. I would just, you know what I mean?
You think so?
He just starts calling him Bam Bam too, which is kind of great.
It also looks like it hurts his feelings for real.
Yeah, it does. It's not the first time this character has heard that about himself, and he's like, fuck, the Bam Bam stuff again? Thought I shook that shit back at the surf club or whatever this guy does for fun.
It'd be funny if he just kept on trying to give him a club. Like just like bought him different kinds of clubs. It's like, here you go, Bam.
Now, a job's a job, obviously, and if the gig pays, sure. But man, you know what's kind of weird about this scene? Being part of the live band that's playing the strip club. Eek.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Eek. That is a fucking lowly gig, man.
And it doesn't have like the sheen of a killing of a Chinese bookie type show either. It's it's much more
definitely
grungier. Just a little like grungy metal band. It sounds like
I feel like you could get away with that in the 70s. You know, it's just like, yeah, it's like you know, an adult review show or something like that. But this is like, somebody get a fucking CD player. It's 1991. You don't need these dudes playing at this strip club. Also, they're taking up room on the stage. There's all these ladies everywhere trying to dance. You got fucking Donald Duck Dunn smoking a pipe, playing the bass in the background.
Everyone goes there for live music only. Like they're just like not looking at the girls.
Well, the house band's great.
That's the cover. You got to be like, oh no, 4 Chains are playing tonight, sweetheart. I'm just going up the road.
That's a
just
great
up the
point.
road. Just 4 Chains are playing. They're great.
Great point. Yeah.
And
No,
then you
I don't
just
want
talk
to
about
see the naked ladies. I want to see the. You know, I'm into metal now.
I'm just going for the music and the low quality crank. That's it. I swear to God.
I do love that the idea that these guys come in and they try and return it. Like basically, like you're going to the Gap with like jeans that don't fit. They're like, these drugs weren't exactly what we were looking for. I'd like my money back, please.
Oh, what was the problem? Were they too
receive it.
short or too long, or did you didn't like the design of the drugs?
Wouldn't every drug addict be doing this? Like, this didn't get me high enough. Take it back.
This is why you need someone like William Forsythe or the Boz in your crew to crack your skull open if you dare talk about returning anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I love that Baxley starts with a POV shot between a dude's legs as he's about to get rocked so hard in the nuts like you've never seen.
This kick to the fucking balls is like, it's like
gorgeous.
A dude in the NFL who knows that this field goal is going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He is kicking this fucking dude in the nuts like it is going through the uprights, man. And I am here for
The only
it.
thing that's missing
Stellar.
is him coughing them up.
Yeah, or at least fucking vomiting.
He flies like Yun Ping was fucking doing this thing. Like he just goes up. Like I was like, okay, now I love this movie. Now we're in. Now I'm locked in.
We're also introduced to, unfortunately, who I would be in the biker gang, the low-level dude Gut, who is
Gut, you'd be
meet
Gut,
him,
definitely.
He's watching
The moral conscience of the Nazi biker gang.
Exactly.
We'll
It's
say.
like, I'm just here for the crank and the booze and the ladies.
Yeah.
Can we
and the good times.
Can we cool with the racism, guys? But like,
hey man, I'm not here to kill any cops or nothing.
I just wanted to make hate speech with my buddies.
Gut is an interesting character study. Did you guys see there's a biker called Tool? You guys recognize this guy?
No.
Familiar.
Tony Pierce. Oh, he looks familiar already. He's one of Rick Moranis' friends in Big Bully.
yes.
When he goes back to the hometown, he's the guy that drives like the fire truck.
I knew it. I knew it was something, you know?
That guy?
Yeah, he's
Oh, wait a second. That guy, the guy who later in this movie gets fucking totally jacked up by a casually tossed grenade.
exactly. That is him.
Yes. Oh, I thought he looked familiar, but you know what, Eric? He didn't have an IMDb picture, and I was like, don't have time for this.
What's funny, I recognized him instantly because I was like, this guy, there's no one's this thin and red haired. It must be the same guy. And it was.
So, because he's sort of saved William Forsythe here in the moment, whatever, Gut invites Boz here, Mr. Stone, to the Brotherhood compound or Brotherhood rally.
Yeah, he
or
just makes
whatever.
that good of impression. All of them are standing around doing the Seagal movie isms of like, damn, whoa, look at that. Look how big he is. Look at him hurl that man over the bar and just smash the entire bar up. So he gets invited to the homoerotic meetup where they all drag race and like rock sleeveless muscle shirts and just like pick each other up.
Yep.
For not even there is a beach wrestling pit, but not even at the beach wrestling pit. They just love like grabbing each other.
Well, because this is like biker gang Olympics, right? Because you had can shoot.
Oh, yeah.
You
Very
had
important.
man toss. You had man drag, which is, it's not dudes in drag, which, you know, would be a fair assumption. No, it is two dudes holding onto ropes being pulled on the back of a truck, and who can hold on the longest is the winner. Good Lord.
You are also missing the all-important car shoot. It's one of the great experiments. They just blow up a car that I assumed they were going to use for something at some point.
These dudes remind me of, speaking of crazy bikers having fun on the beach, all the fucking crazy whack jobs in Mad Max.
Yes.
In the first Mad Max, where they're just all farting around on the beach and shooting each other in the water and whatnot.
To Josh's point about how Baxley strips this down, Stone Cold gets off his motorcycle and just starts walking towards this pit fight situation without anyone being like, oh, that's Roscoe, he's the toughest pit fighter, or like whoever wins against Roscoe gets the boss's favorite. He just kind of just gets off the motorcycle. Gut's like, oh, hey, man. And then he just gets in and starts fighting this guy.
He literally takes his shirt off like while still walking over there. And they're like, yeah, I guess it's his turn now.
Sure. Yeah, there's no sign up for him, I guess.
It's kind of like this is a video game and you're playing through and you're like, oh, I already fucking got killed in this part. So yeah, I'm going to press X to skip the cutscene and just get back to the fighting again.
Which I appreciate. This is economic storytelling. And
it is.
By the time you get to the end of this, folks, you wouldn't believe the kill count. It's just extraordinary.
Gut is really like the one who's like telling him, like, I have never seen somebody so just happy to be usurped. Like, he's just like, please, Boz, please just beat the shit out of this guy and let me watch it and then be my friend, please. I can't wait for us to be friends.
During this beach fight, Chains, played by the great Lance Henriksen, is watching everything. And it was so funny because, again, like I said, earlier today, first time I watched the film ever, I knew Lance Henriksen was in it. Of course, Chris is great. Teaser from last week's episode, right? You've liked Lance Henriksen. You were going to love Lance Henriksen in this movie. So I'm waiting for Henriksen, and I did not recognize him as this character for a second. Because it's how Lance Henriksen has never looked to me in a movie.
He disappears in the role.
He does.
He's got this like long, stringy hair, and he's unsettling.
The glasses.
For sure.
He looks like fucking Gary Oldman and Dracula with those things.
If Walter Hill had made Pirates of the Caribbean in the early 90s, this is your Jack Sparrow right here. This guy, he's looking fantastic.
Ooh. He's very leathery. His voice, I don't know if it's a thing where he's putting on a voice for the character or this is before he switched to Marb Lights, but like he is just like, like every voice, everything that comes out of him is like, oh, it's been a long night. Oh man. Oh.
He also looks like he's constantly telling a joke despite how tough and scary he obviously is trying to come off. And, you know, he's like, man, I'm so impressed with your knuckle sandwiches and your attitude. And he's like putting on like a big smile while he's saying it.
Because that's what bikers like, you know? They're scary, but they appreciate a nice knuckle sandwich when they see it.
Because
man, that wrestling match, I love that it stops being wrestling about halfway through because they're just two guys in jeans, nothing but jeans in the sand. Right, and they stop wrestling and they just start slugging each other back and forth until the Boz straight up uppercuts the dude so hard that he backflips. And that is the Baxley touch because he comes obviously from the stunt background and he could clearly get his stunt artists to do whatever they wanted. But every single moment, and this is one of my favorite qualities, it's dynamic and practical and huge, whether it makes sense or not. Like even that opening grocery store bit, there's a part where I think he tricks a guy by throwing a can of spinach at him, and then he slides on just some like spilled liquid on the floor. And the slide is like the dude was going 100 miles an hour and he got rug pulled at the last minute. Like that's how huge the like slip that he does. And Baxley just loves that. And obviously it makes such an incredible thing to watch that every moment makes no physical sense, but a real stunt guy is about to fly somewhere.
It's a cartoon with real meat at stake here.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for pointing out that slip because I did have it in my notes. It's a weird, he tosses a can of some sort of green vegetable as like a noise distraction. And then the guy like fires or whatever, but then he runs another way. And this dude, there's just like spilled cooking oil in the aisle. And that's what he slips on and launches into this amazing tower of Coca-Cola Classic cans. Holy fuck, that guy eats shit. It's incredible.
Oh, man.
after
Oh my God.
after the wrestling match,
Right.
Bosworth comes back. I guess he comes in a van, and like Lance Henriksen and his lady friend are just going through it, and it just seems like the start of a gross threesome. Like a really like this is
Yeah.
but it's even worse because he's like, hey man, you could use my lady. It's Nancy. This is Arabella Holzbog. Who's kind of like the lead female in the film, who has like 9 lines of dialogue.
She's the only biker who doesn't get a sick name. She's just Nancy.
Yeah. That's weird.
And it's just like, hey man, you could just use Nancy however you want. I'll be back in a little bit. And it's like, I don't want to do that.
No, I left the keys in her, so I go have fun.
Now, listen to me. You can trust me. My name is Chains, by the way. And here is my associate Mudbird, who has been picking through your stuff. I'll also have sex with my girlfriend, please.
The focus on the social hierarchy of the biker gang. Like a lot of this movie is like actually showing you how this works, how the women make their way up or don't. Like, you know, either you're a top girl or you're just the woman who's playing pool whose tits just pop out into the camera at one random point. Or you're taking a shower next to the Nazi flags outside.
Oh, that was the weirdest thing. That fucking outside shower just in the middle of this shanty town for the SS biker gang.
It's Mississippi. It's it's hot down there. You got to take a shower sometimes.
I mean, these dudes are basically living in like a Spawn Ranch kind of situation somewhere.
They have some ICE has 2 ladies, so they have some like Mormon type thing going on in here. They're allowed to take multiple and trade as they will. Just to talk about the hierarchy. It's not really
Mormons, dude. I think the Mormons stole it from bikers.
I think you're right. The bikers definitely came first. They were on like the unicycle or whatever. And they went out west, and then the Mormons were like, "Wow, they got a pretty."
The Mormons appropriated. That's what happened there for sure.
And God said to make crank and proliferate it across the country.
By the way, see us in Salt Lake City this November.
There you go.
Come to Brewers Live.
Wild thing here, and this is where like we're doing some quick work to be like, our dude here at the Boz is playing a guy who has values because like Lance Henriksen is just like, yeah, have a good time with my old lady. And closes the door. And then this lady's like ready to fucking, get down on the Boz. And he goes, unlike your old man, I know that a pretty lady isn't something you give away. And you're just like, oh, he's got honor under that mullet. Got it. Excellent.
That's what's holding it up.
There's not even a subplot. The plot of the movie is this guy, Governor Whipperton is upset that the 45-year sentence on the guy that killed the Baptist minister was too light, and wants to appeal that sentence as the DA to get a death penalty.
Whilst running for governor, dude. It's a campaign promise. I'm going to get this priest killer executed.
Excuse me. The priest killer has a name, okay? It's Trouble Owens. That's amazing.
That is the guy. So actually, question about Trouble Owens, Chris Cabin.
Yes.
Is he like... Because they are breaking their fucking back trying to get this dude out of prison, right?
Sure.
This whole D-Day mission, the whole thing is to get this dude, out of jail and whatever. Is he like the number one guy and Chains has just risen to the occasion after the arrest?
I don't know if it's that. It might be. I feel like it has to be. At the very least, he's like the Willie Nelson to his James Caan in Thief. Like he's the guy that like he needs to do it because they have this connection. They started this Nazi SS shit together and they want to finish it together. And they're very important. They have a lot of pride about that. Andrew.
That's beautiful, Chris.
If the movie has a clock, it is that. The next day, the Boz goes over and like. There's ways to impress a biker gang without getting shot in the chest, and I think giving somebody like Chains a bulletproof vest is really just asking for trouble.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's already being suspected of like possibly being an infiltrator, and they're like, "So you showed up with a government issue, like bulletproof vest? That's what you brought here." Which, by the way, another sort of Baxley-ism thing in here briefly. I can't believe, and this is the thing that elevates this movie on a moment-to-moment basis, because we've talked about how economical and how it moves, but there's a shot in here that always floors me every time I watch it, because there's no reason for him to have to do this shot. It's like a needlessly complicated, like Jackie Chan kind of thing, where just straight up, they introduce Boz walking in to give Henriksen this gift, and he walks in, and to show Henriksen entering the room, they have the shot of this dude throwing a knife into a photo of an ass crack that is next to the door Henriksen's about to walk through. And the camera literally whip pans from the Boz and this guy throwing the knife over to the knife hitting the ass crack photo and still wobbling back and forth as Henriksen comes through the door right beside that knife, like just a few inches away from where it was thrown. And it's like such a complicated, like 7-second shot for no reason. And dangerous, like Henriksen's having a knife thrown at him. And like that's how you get this moment of Henriksen walking into the room and then putting the bulletproof vest on him and just having a huge gleeful maniacal smile while he just shoots him in the chest. And once again, the Boz is a big guy. He flies across the room onto a pool table.
No gravity in this world. They just took it out.
The thing with the knife in the ass crack photo that's great too is Henriksen's reaction, which is nothing.
Yep.
Like he walks in and this dude does this, like one of his fellow bikers does this, and he's like, "Yep." Doesn't have to. He's not like, "What the fuck are you doing? That's crazy. You just threw a fucking hunting knife at me."
Yep.
Nothing. It's like, "Oh, that's fun."
They're respectful. They shoot the bullets and the beer cans off each other's heads outside. They throw knives at each other's inside. You know.
Yeah.
There's some rules.
This whole bulletproof vest thing reminded me of this fucking great doc that's coming out called Second Chance. Has anyone heard of this?
No.
It's about this guy Richard Davis who basically like invented what we know is like the modern bulletproof vest. And the way that he fucking tested it was just this dude would just repeatedly shoot himself in the chest.
Oh wow! I thought you were going to say that he was going to.
Wild.
I thought you were going to say like he put a bunch of vests on some dogs and threw them in the backyard and just started going wild on them.
No, he shot himself in the chest nearly 200 times.
Wow, that's great.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I saw it at Sundance or South by or something. Second Chance.
Think about how many inventors die every year trying to invent something. You know, there's got to be a lot.
Yes. Including the bulletproof mask, which never took off. Somehow. I don't know how.
You know what? We should, hey, Tesla, look into that one. Test that out.
No, but he gets
shooting myself in the face. Sorry.
No, so he gets the vest and like I mean the idea is like of how are you doing this? And the answer is Boz is just that good that he can convince him that he's got this government issue stuff. And I mean, he's going to pay it off by getting this P2P, which I don't even know what that is.
It's literally a made-up drug.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think it's supposed to be close to PCP is my guess.
Okay,
because they do, those truckers do say crank, so I guess we couldn't license PCP.
What was the drug on 90210 again?
Euphoria.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a fake drug.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. I mean, so Boz gets shot. And that, of course, makes him ready.
But he also
to be
proves that he's got balls of steel.
Yes,
and Henriksen gets to deliver, in my opinion, the line of the film, the line that summarizes the film, the line that summarizes what Baxley said when he started shooting this, which is, this is either going to be the biggest pork chop I ever ate or my bulldozer. Because Ice, William Forsythe, thinks that he's a cop. And he's right. He's like, straight up, this guy's giving me cop vibes. That's all I'm saying. Right. And, regardless, Henriksen is like, this man is big, he's mean, and either I'm going to eat him or I'm going to use him.
And I do think he would eat him alive. This character is a cannibal, 1,000%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they were taught. I think Trouble Owens probably got him into it originally. You eat a couple of teenagers you find on the road.
Oh,
you do the thing.
We definitely need at least one more movie besides Dead Man where Lance Henriksen's eating a guy's entire arm like it's barbecue.
So Stone gets an assignment from Chains. He's like, all right, like it's your fealty test to the, to get in the biker gang or whatever. You got to go check out this dude who is slinging like on our territory. You got to go see what that dude's up to. And we get this fucking like hysterical. Brian Bosworth just on a motorcycle. You get to watch this man's commute because there's like 25 to 30 seconds of this dude just riding a motorcycle to meet up with this drug dealer and see what's going on. Like a completely unnecessary
sunset, glam rock, all of it.
Oh man, this rock and roll they got here. And he goes from having the biker gear, he's driving to this club and he's got like Demolition Man wardrobe on when he walks in. It's this high collar with this weird connector. It's absolutely atrocious.
It's a sex priest. It's a sex priest.
Yeah,
it's like leather.
That's about right. About right.
About to use those 3 seashells.
But I love like he's complimenting this dude like on his dancing, like at the bar, like he spies this dude on the dance floor. Guy is admittedly totally cutting a rug, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
And then Bosworth is like, "Hey man, you do a good job on the dancing stuff. Yeah, you're a good rug cutter and whatnot." And this dude's like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely not a cop. Yeah, I'll continue talking to you."
Hello, nice stranger who's just talking to me like this.
Seriously.
But I love how Baxley just skips over this stuff because it is just straight up like, yeah, he's got to do his mission. He's got to go eliminate this guy for him. And it just turns into this montage where he like throws him into the interrogation room. They take a cadaver's ear and they replicate his tattoo so that it could look like he ripped his ear off and with the earring in it and everything and take it back to Henriksen. And then they also show him putting that guy on a plane and being like, get out of the country. We could have, you were meant for dead. Now you're alive. Get out of here. That kind of deal. But all of that happens in like 30 seconds.
So fast. And that shows you that the government should just, well, I don't know, maybe this guy comes back. It's kind of a, twist. Should have killed him. Should have actually murdered him for this.
Dropped him from
assignment.
the plane over the ocean, dude.
Yeah.
Also,
we've done it all the time.
Pinochet. It's fine.
That cadaver's ear, you better hope that stays a John Doe, by the way. Because like the next day, someone's like, that guy who died in the park last week was my dad.
Yeah. Well, your dad's ear fell off while he fell down in the park.
Yeah, and they love just fucking bodies up. Like they show you this like disgusting rotted ear. They show you when that guy takes the grenade, he's charred up in the hospital. There is just an image at one point of William Forsythe who's getting like a biker Valhalla funeral, he is just on fire, corpseified, like at the top.
It's totally fucking awesome. I love the glee with which the tattoo artist is doing this ear, because like the guy's just like sitting at a table, he's tattooed. It's basically the dude's whole ear had like a spider web design in it, and they cut to this guy and he's just like, I never tattooed a corpse before. It's so fucking funny.
He's just tired of devils and hearts. He's been doing devils
and he had to have the
hearts.
most complicated ear tattoo someone could have had.
Spiderweb.
This dude gets deported or whatever, but he makes Henriksen think that he's fucking killed this guy for, getting in on the territory or whatever. But then so it's a thing where it's like, we got to go around. I'm going to send you out. We got to collect. You see how they, collect like protection money or drug money or whatever. And this is where the guy is. So you realize there's a thing going on here where the bikers are wrapped up in the mafia. And I need more biker v mafia movies, by the way, because amazing combination of adversaries.
Totally.
And the mafia is driving down the road and they're like, oh, look at this fucking son of a bitch. I recognize that redhead son of a bitch anywhere. That guy's one of the bikers. He's one of the Brotherhood. And this guy casually just flicks this grenade out a car window.
Joey, get my grenade. Joey, what's my grenade?
Get my vine of grenades. He's just plucking them off. Like, here we go.
The 10th stunt guy in the movie to go through a plate of glass.
And it's so awesome.
Look at back then in the day, the Italian mafia or whatever here moving in on Mississippi. And they can barely keep Staten Island these days. It's really sad.
It's really fucking sad.
These are definitely the most ambitious bikers that have ever been depicted in a film in terms of like how they're getting into nationwide drugs. They're getting into religious figure murder, political murder, and with the mafia. And there's one other thing that they're getting into too that I can't even remember, but there's more. Oh, contract hits as well. It's just...
They're great.
I mean, they are pretty much you're pretty much making like a Hell's Angels movie without saying Hell's Angels. Then you're going to fucking dust up some trouble. Don't even worry about it. But like the Hell's Angels are like a national club on the scale,
And
they're doing work for the fucking
Yeah,
Rolling Stones or
interviewers in the
whatnot.
press tour tried to get the boss to say Hell's Angels, and he wouldn't say it.
Smart move, dude.
And now that, by the way, now that we've said it, just want to thank them for their service.
Yep.
And I think
Good
you guys are
people.
doing a great job.
The
Wonderful
mafia
people.
and the bikers.
Oh, absolutely. We're pro,
support
we're pro
both.
both. We don't want to be
I'm
in
not. I don't know about pro biker. I'm not so. Pro biker.
well, we don't
Oh,
want
okay. Well, we'll let him know that.
go to
Steve.
Steve's
Yes.
house, not
You
mine.
should-
So-
you know what, dude? The end of this movie is pretty much January 6th if they got their shit together. All right.
Yes.
So that's kind
The
of
more successful.
yes.
Well, you want to attack the Mississippi State Capitol, no problem. Washington D.C. is a little more shit there, a little more corridors.
So just so we're clear, that's 4 Hell's Angels are cool and 1
Yep.
Hell's Angels suck from Steve.
Yep.
I'm
That's
So
right.
saying,
Steve is very
I
specifically
think
Hell's Angels
everyone's
suck.
pretty great, especially those engaged in criminal enterprise. And I think you guys are just doing a great job. And I say, go for it.
You know what? I think Gimme Shelter was biased. That's what I think. I think
A
that
little
was a con job right there. Is
A
what was
little
happening.
bit.
I love the whole gang visiting fucking Tool in the hospital, and like Lance Henriksen and Forsythe are just like shoving doctors all over the
They're
place. It's
forcing
great.
this woman also. Now, I guess the women don't get fun biker nicknames. Marie is being forced upon Tool of like, you're going to take care of him. And it's like, let the guy fucking sleep, Maybe his
Dude,
dick's
let
not
the
going to
guy
get hard.
die.
Yeah, he's got morphine.
He's begging. He's begging Lance Henriksen to murder him. He's like, I know that I look worse than the Joker. Please fucking kill me.
No, you're getting your dick sucked if you like it or not.
That's the thing. I think they probably did offer the girls names, and they were like, "No, I'm fine with Rebecca. I don't need to be called hole or mouth. I don't. Those are not good. I
Yeah.
really,
Don't worry about it, Tool. Once you get out of the hospital, Queef here is going to take
Yeah.
care of you to the end
And
of
then
the
he
days.
nicknamed me Mudflap after anal, okay?
I will also say these guys, these bikers, our friends here, have a much better system than Flowers and or a card. They've got a Domino's pizza and a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yep.
The next time I'm in the hospital, which will probably be very soon, that is the gift. Okay?
After the Hells Angels knocks on your fucking door, dude. Can't believe you just signed your own death sentence.
They immediately look under the blanket and go, look, man, it could be worse. Your dick could not be working right now, but we're looking at it and it looks awesome. And it's also worth noting Henriksen, he does his first wardrobe change in this scene to a chainmail crop top and
Ooh.
jeans underneath the leather chaps.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, with this chainmail crop top, if this motherfucker teaches himself how to play saxophone, he could be going around doing Lost Boys cosplay. This fucking
absolutely.
chainmail shirt. Oh, dude, you're just looking like Timmy. What's his face?
He's looking like an extra in the Soundgarden video. It's just like the most delicious thing. This chainmail
Yeah.
he's got.
I might steal this look.
It's not bad, and like, but they of course they have to keep on belittling him. Like he might not even have a hand anymore underneath
Yes.
it all, and they're like, "I got a big Q-tip there, buddy. No hand, Mister No Hand."
that's a supremely fucked up thing. And this dude's like, thanks, Lance Henriksen. That is really funny, but also I can't jerk off or drive anymore.
Yeah, and like he is like seriously fucked up in terms of the makeup work, and everyone's
Yeah.
cracking jokes until it's worth noting Gut tries to crack a joke, and he goes, "Look, man, I'll play my nice harmonica tunes for you." And immediately all the jokes stop. Henriksen turns around and goes, "Take that fucking harmonica down to the parking lot, man. Nobody wants to hear your fucking harmonica."
Poor
And
God.
Whipperton in on the TV again, very economical. A lot going on in this scene. Whipperton comes on the TV and is like, "By the way, I'm instituting the National Guard to checkpoints. We're gonna get rid of this biker gang." And at this point, which is a scene I do want, but the reveal is nice. Ice William Forsythe goes to get the guy that got Tool.
Tool.
Yeah. But then there's a scene basically where Chains gives the mafia a present, which is a motorcycle helmet. You're like, well, that's nice. Open it. it's your friend. And he's got like funny, like
It's the
scared
face.
eyes, which I love.
Yep. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
That's part of the economy I love about it, because it is like this thing where they go and they find the devastated dude in the hospital. It connects to the TV where things are being motivated there, and he just combines scenes everywhere that he can. And he does the same thing here, where he's like, we need to get revenge on the Italians, but we also need to move forward the drug deal sting operation plotline at the same time. So they literally go there, show the decapitated head in the helmet, and then go, by the way, we're making a deal with you now.
Yep.
And they just do it in the same scene.
And the whole thing is, there's this truck of fake PCP coming in, and we're going to team up with the mafia. It's going to be this massive buy, yada, yada, yada. And the whole thing, of course, being orchestrated by the boss, because he's the one who's saying, like, I know that this truck's coming through. It's my connection or whatever. It's my deal. So then I love the part where he's talking to the FBI. He's like, yeah, I need like 30 barrels of pure PCP by this weekend.
Well, the government has it, dude. They're the ones making it.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
At one point, there is
yep.
a part where Sam McMurray pulls him aside and says, look, we've got them on collection. We've got them on racketeering. We can put this biker gang away. And Brian Bosworth very clearly is like, that's flimsy. Remember that when the Capitol is destroyed and 70 people are dead. This all could have been prevented, Mr. Bosworth. You know what I mean? Like, even if you get like Henriksen for 5 years, like that is enough that would save this dude Whipperton's life.
But his whole thing, dude,
Sure.
and I agree with you. I think, Mr. Stone here, the boss, is getting a little greedy. He's flying a little too close to the sun and whatnot, because he's telling the dude from Jason Goes to Hell, he's like, hey, man, not only can we get Lance Henriksen and the Brotherhood, we can get the fucking mafia. Dude, I'm sorry, but a bust that is taking down this nationwide biker syndicate and, your vague Italian mafia situation here. Eyes are too big for your stomach, man. The mafia can wait for another day.
Yes. In fact, let them go.
Yes, there is no such thing as a 4-quadrant hit. You can't do everything.
No,
it's just too much. You're trying too much here, buddy.
Well, he has the most biker gang related arrests in all of Alabama. So I think you guys are being a little critical.
Okay, that's fair.
I love, what the fuck is Lance Henriksen doing here? It's a totally maniacal moment, but it means like nothing really. He's watching another like Whipperton press conference, which I love. Like, even when in the hospital, he's like, hey, Tool, I know that you're really banged up, man. Do you mind if I turn on the TV to see if there's any developments in the movie?
I just want to get real angry and look at the TV for a while.
Does this thing get local politics on it?
I want to break your TV in your room when you have no fucking face. Like, I was going to watch Cheers in a minute, dude. Do you mind?
I do like that with fucking Whipperton. Like, part of the thing about him getting shot is like, there is no effort made by Baxley or anybody really to make Whipperton like seem like he's like a hero. Like, you kind of are okay when he gets shot, when he gets blown away.
You view him as like an asshole or whatever, because if 45 years in prison, that is a death sentence. Like, who gives a shit? But then it's like, and then the same thing is like, if the bikers kill Whipperton, does it fucking matter? There's gonna be 5 more guys lining up with the exact same politics to take his job.
I think that's probably the attitude the movie has. And they're also just like, that's not real justice. Real justice is the boss, like, allowing about 150 people to go up in 24 hours.
But I don't want to lose how amazing it is that Henriksen is doing either video editing or something with this thing. He's like,
I got no
I
idea.
will sentence him to death. Sentence him to death.
He's rewinding.
Death.
Dale.
Death.
Dale.
Death.
Dale.
Things are getting stressful at work when you are just really like OCD rewinding something and just laughing maniacally at the television. Like, you need a vacation, Chains. You need a vacation.
That's how I was watching
Well,
this movie.
this is why he needs his serene moments in his very wet, candlelit, bisexual lighting biker warehouse.
Yes. It's the wettest hideout. I've never seen a wetter hideout in my life. Just like, he's soaking wet, and
we're
then
on the Gulf Coast, Chris.
I mean, that makes sense.
I almost said golf course, but that would have been wrong.
I mean, maybe they'll take one eventually. That'd be cool.
Oh my God. Imagine them killing a bunch of people on a golf course, sort of like the start of
would love
Ninja
it.
3.
But there is
Hell yeah. Oh shit. Excellent opening.
Bikers versus golfers?
versus
That's
Bikers
awesome.
versus ninjas.
Absolutely.
I love that there's this other character who's played by Mac's dad from Always Sunny called AWOL.
Yes.
You get a small biography of him. He's a Gulf War deserter, which is an amazing concept.
Who still has
What's the matter, dude? You couldn't wait fucking 37 days?
Exactly, dude.
And he's got connections in the military still. So later in the film, he just buys a military helicopter from the
Absolutely, dude.
military.
And that's the point where the movie's like, yep, let's get through the scene pretty fast. Nobody ask any questions
Don't
about
think.
this. Yes, he's bribing another fellow Army Ranger for a helicopter. Don't worry about it.
I need to get back to soaking wet chains because chains coming down. So while this is we're ignoring it because it doesn't matter. There's a relationship budding between Nancy and Boz, supposedly.
sort of. Which even in the most perfect, pristine of circumstances, Chris Cabin,
Yes.
that relationship is topping out at a failed hand
Well,
job. That's not any true love or anything. like
No,
that.
it is not, because you know what true love is? It's ice and chains. I have never
hell yeah.
seen sexual tension not since Top Gun have I seen sexual tension like this between two men while they're having this conversation. And it is really him like Ice being like, I do not trust Boz. We need to get rid of him. Stone needs to go tomorrow. Yeah. And fucking changed. Lance Henriksen says something. I posted about this earlier. Says something I don't think has ever been said in the history of the human language. I'm going to, if I want to, I'll milk him at a gourd.
Milk him to a gourd.
Milk him to a gourd. Wouldn't you
make
milk
him
something?
into a gourd by milking him.
So you
By
milk his
milking him
dick so much that he like compresses smaller.
Turns into a squash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
It is
Chris?
a really fucking unhinged thing to say.
Yeah.
What's the full quote?
and then he'll chop his arms and legs off, weld him into a steel tank, and drop him in the bayou.
Mm-hmm.
You can leave it at the gourd, brother. You already did it. You fucking turned him into a squash. You got him, baby.
He does have very specific threats. Earlier, he threatens, I think, Stone with peeling his skin with a knife blade that he's dipped in shit.
Yeah, because he gets bored. I think it's just because like you've got that much power. I mean, we'll see what he does in a couple minutes, what he tries to pull off here. You have that much power. All you're doing all day is taking just immense amount of drugs.
Yes.
And just finding new ways to kill people, I assume, to keep up the death
But
cult
Henriksen is a poet. Like he is
Yes.
chewing it, and he is, he wants you to know that he has thought of very creative ways that he is gonna fuck you up.
thing. I just imagine he has like a recipe box with them all in there, and he's just like,
Yeah.
flipping them out every once in a while.
Oh, damn! You better not put that armoire down on the street.
So
And he's also revving the motorcycle in the
Yes.
middle of the room, right? Is that when he's doing that?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And he's like, I don't like what I'm hearing, brother. I
Well,
don't like what I'm
this is
seeing."
again, Josh. You're using the wrong nomenclature. It wasn't a room at all. It's a warehouse. Of
Oh,
some kind.
A
So that
barn,
makes
maybe?
more sense. Room is a bit constrictive.
yeah.
The thing that sort of like it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. I know with Gut specifically, but maybe some other people in the biker gang.
I love it.
This weird thing where like the gang, all the Brotherhood approaches one of these like National Guard roadblocks or whatever. And Lance Henriksen just this fucking guy, like they're giving this dude shit, and this like old, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year motherfucker is just like, please let us do our jobs. And then cut to these dudes in these fucking wooden crates, and William Forsythe or Chain himself, Henriksen, just murders these dudes straight up. And then this is Guts like, when I joined this murderous biker gang, I thought, sure, we'd be dealing drugs, we'd be fucking with cops, worshiping the Fuhrer, probably a lot of sexual assault, but shooting these dudes in a wooden crate is a fridge too far, and it's fucked up.
Guts right here because like if you just shot him on the street when they first confronted you, fine. But like putting them in a wooden box and then shooting them and then trying to use that wooden box to ship them to the DA that's running for governor as a campaign contribution. That's funny, but like you're ruining the box.
There's elaborative steps being taken.
Yes.
Definitely taking it to some extremes.
But that box might fall apart in transit is my point. You're just shooting it full of, just shoot them and put them in the box.
Well,
That's
but Eric, I think it's different. I think what Gut's problem here is he likes, if he wants to catch, he wants wild caught corpses. He doesn't want farm corpses. He needs to be out there in the wild and find
free
them.
range. Yeah, you don't want them living in confinement.
He prefers his murder victims like, salmon. Like
a
nice way to hunt for salmon, Chris Cabin.
It's just not as fresh the other way, This way, not good.
It tastes different.
This scene ends with Gut's hand going inside a motorcycle spoke, which you kind of never see he's just got it wrapped up the rest of the movie. I kind of want to see that
I
want to see
little bit. A finger fly. Apparently this was, I don't know if this is true. They said something about like NC-17 was the original rating and they had to cut it back.
I totally buy it.
Maybe a finger flew off or something. I don't know.
I would have ponied up for the NC-17.
Yeah, there are some scenes where you see very explicit violence and other ones where it feels like they cut away too soon. Like you could tell that this feels like a movie that was trimmed in that way.
It's just so fucked up because it's like, I don't know, put some jelly-filled hot dogs in those spokes and fucking film it. I'm totally here for it.
So whatchamacallit, there's Forsythe Ice is like trailing he takes Bosworth takes Nancy out to lunch. We find out that she had a rough life. Great. And then, it's just the most pat thing. She's like, my stepfather, yada, yada, yada.
They don't care. They don't care about the one like female character for sure.
No, not at all. So, he winds up right afterwards, like going and meeting Sam McMurray, but Ice has followed him there. And then like, it's this like mad dash to, if Ice gets back to the base and tells everybody I'm totally fucked, I got to get rid of him. And it's a great chase scene. There's a tunnel involved. There's my favorite scene in the movie is there's this nice driver. There's these two motorcycles on either side. It's Ice and Bosworth, and he's like, "What the hell's going on here?" And William Forsythe goes to him and was like, "Hey!" And he stabs this dude in the arm, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
But it's because he knows the dude will jerk the wheel into the Boz, which is a fucking incredible strategic move here.
It is. He's 3 moves ahead.
So
always.
Awesome. You get shit here. There's like a machine gun that just fucking blows up this cop car, and a cop goes flying. A lot of solid dummy work in this movie. Absolutely.
Oh man, but and then finally, fucking, they get out of the tunnel. And a little like loop-de-loop, like Boz like fakes him out on something, and fucking Ice gets burned to a crisp. It like this, the motorcycle goes into the car, and a mushroom cloud comes out.
And it is a full profile angle of a head-on collision, and it is dummy, and it is like dummy work as good, I'd say. I think Andrew, you brought up, I think, the original Mad Max. I thought about that part where his eyes pop out and he gets run over by a truck. That's what this moment in terms of the dummy work and how huge. I think that explosion goes off before the collision happens. They want this moment to be as big as possible.
It's the Simpsons gag. It's literally like the leaf is flowing down onto the school bus and it explodes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't care about the physics. We want this huge explosion. And I'm with you.
God bless.
Chains should be called Mendoza. That's really what we're getting at here.
And the motorcycle chase itself, and I'm sure someone's going to say there's better ones out there. Sure. But I was watching the chase part of this with these motorcycles. I was like, this is like the fucking French Connection of motorcycle chases. I mean,
of cheap motorcycle chases,
yeah. I mean, it is just some wild ass actual dudes on motorcycles, and it's shit like this that it's like, you're making this movie in 1990. You got no fucking money. This thing looks way better than the vast majority of fucking Marvel movies that are coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you take the computers right out of the equation, and it's incredible. That's all.
lights hitting stuff.
Yeah,
And
his stunt driving background definitely comes into play in that scene specifically, because it's just like,
Hell
and I think that's why he actually even got Henriksen, because I think I read that he was the driver for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like he was a stunt driver before he was a coordinator, and he was doing all of those kinds of stunts. So like, yeah, Baxley really brings it. If there's a motorcycle chase and they are like weaving in and out of real cars, and you're like, holy shit, like it feels dangerous before the Mad Max level head-on collision shit is happening.
Baxley drove the UFO, and
yeah,
amazing.
I forget.
landed it?
You will forget time and again that Lance Henriksen is in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. By the way,
Yeah,
The man's
Yeah.
been
he's like
around.
just sexy bodyguard in the background or whatever.
Yeah,
I
and
had
you're
already
like
forgot
you're
that.
at the big, Truffaut's doing the whole thing, and you're like, is that fucking Lance Henriksen talking with Francois Truffaut? Yes, it is. Awesome.
Well, you're
We're
about
doing-
to see some of Lance Henriksen's best fucking playing ever, some of the best acting ever, because fucking his beautiful Ice is dead. Ice was like burned up in the script.
Viking funeral, dude, for
Amazing.
Ice on
Like-
set upon the motorcycle.
on the Iron Horse,
Awesome.
dude,
They-
riding
they-
it to hell.
They stole this corpse. They brought it back, and they got his car too. Somehow it survived the fucking crash. And
Now
they
this is the thing. All the economical editing, all the slim trim storytelling, love it.
Yeah.
I need to see them getting their hands on William Forsythe's corpse.
Yes.
I absolutely need that scene.
a Bad Boys 2-esque, romp to get him from the morgue. That's fine. I can deal with
keep
that.
dropping it on the way back, but it's fine.
Oh,
I'm gonna
God
burn
Yeah, you
it
get
anyway.
some coffin flops in there. Fuck it.
Coffin flop
Yes.
for sure.
And they fucking grip him. They glue him into his own motorcycle. Rigor mortis is setting in. This thing stinks.
He's got
It's
a
like
cigar.
Psychomania.
He's got a
It
cigar
is.
in his mouth. Yeah, kind of like Psychomania. Good, another biker movie. We did an episode on that 1,000 years ago as well.
Oh, yeah.
But
Great
Episode 5.
His
Look out below.
speech is like, he was the toughest fucking son of a bitch I ever met. He was also a piece of garbage. If you like tipped at a bar, he would take the tip back and use it for his own purposes. He was a real piece of shit. Yeah.
He's like a
and it's in
brother
this
to me.
giant, fiery, low-angle crane shot
Yes.
of him just like looking straight into you, and he's being like, "He was cold, so let's send him to Valhalla." And everyone and all the bikers just start shooting the guns in the air and everything.
Kind of
Nuts.
amazing. The other movie I watched today was the 1982 Conan the Barbarian.
Sure.
Also just chock full of Viking funerals. It was a real Viking funeral Tuesday for this guy.
It's good to burn bodies.
I think
Hell
so.
yeah.
I mean, this is like the emotion underlying it all. I mean, this is like his closest friend and brother. And this is how this is when Chains, I think, loses it. And I think this is why he double crosses Boz in the third act. I think this really is it. His heart is broken.
Do you think anyone's shedding a tear at Ice's funeral out of curiosity? Just someone in the background. That was fucking beautiful.
Definitely, dude.
my
I mean,
God.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
he was a huge part of the organization,
Oh, yeah.
He was the only guy who could shoot a can off someone's head with an Uzi and not actually hit them.
Last Christmas, he shoved my mother down the stairs. That guy was amazing.
I love
that guy.
I love him so much. I'm going to shoot at this gun in the sky. I don't care for how long. We're going to
I
shoot.
remember last Valentine's Day, he murdered my ex-wife.
I don't know why, but I invited him to my grandpa's funeral and he stole the watch from his body. And I loved him so much for that. For that specifically.
He's the one that came up with the idea of shooting those priests. I just love him. I love him so much. I fucking miss him.
He was Trouble's true sire, like the one who was
Oh, yeah.
promised.
Hell yeah. Oh, also, it kind of doesn't mean anything, but it sort of does because there's this crooked, like, lady highway patrol person.
Sure.
Oh, right.
Who Chain calls at one point to be like, hey, run this name and see what's up. So she calls back and is like, oh, and I don't know why in the shit the FBI would like do this. But she's like, oh, I was able to crack some mainframe. I got access to whatever database. And this guy that you know as Stone is also this other dude. So, yeah, he's probably a cop.
I like his excuse for it, the boss here, because he's like, so I got a lot of names.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Which is
But
kind
then
of a point. Like criminals have a
Sure.
lot of names.
Sure.
For instance, I have different ones. Obviously, my real name doesn't have 2 Z's in it.
Oh no. But it's weird though because this is Nancy and she's like, all right, Boz, look me straight in the eye and tell me you're not a cop. And like, again, I guess this is just economical storytelling. He takes 2 seconds to try to do it, and then he's like, yeah, you're right, I'm a cop.
Well, he
It's
does it
like
sarcastically because I mean, legally you have to if somebody asks, that's the that's the thing
That's
we all know.
that's a fake thing, first of all.
Oh, is it really?
I'm a
Yeah.
real police
It's-
officer. Okay.
Yeah, that whole if you're a cop, you have to tell me, that's fake. But also, I didn't read. That's interesting. I didn't read it as sarcasm. I thought he just straight up told her, and I just had to pause it because I was laughing so much.
She definitely doesn't register that that's what
Yes.
that he was not saying that seriously, even though he, as an actor, I think just said the line. But also he took off the tiny sunglasses before he said it to know
Thank
that
you.
look,
we need to
I'm
talk
for
a little
real.
bit about these sunglasses. These little blue things. These
Yeah,
like
dude, they are Gary Oldman and Dracula
yeah,
glasses.
they are.
They're
You're right.
great, dude.
Those
gotta
those
come
are
back.
fantastic, and the ones that Lance Henriksen is using when the final interaction between Boz and him, he has these sunglasses that make no sense. There's 17 shapes in one glass.
So yeah, this is around where the Boz convinces the FBI to let them do this bust so they can get both the Brotherhood biker gang and the mafia here, and that's where we get this dude Martinez, who is like another undercover dude who's pretending to be the delivery driver, this truck driver or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And they put up this whole it's like a little drug deal pageant that these guys put on because he's like, they're nowhere near like the rest of the bikers, but they're still giving dialogue as if they could be overheard. And he's like, hey man, can I talk to you for a second? Like the cut I'm getting,
Yeah.
it only works out to be less than 10%. That's kind of fucked up. And I'm like, Lance Henriksen can't hear any of this.
Yeah.
You guys should be talking about like, all right, man, so now you got the bulletproof vest on, right, Martinez? Yeah, definitely. All right, now I'm going to shoot you in the chest and we're going to pretend that I murdered you, right? Yeah, okay, here we go. We're going to do it. You ready, man? You ready? It's going to hurt a little bit, but not a lot. All right, yeah, let's do it. But like, it's this full-on scene and the movie's trying to play the audience and it's like, no. I know the Boz. I know that Martinez has to be in on it. What are you doing?
Well, also you have to imagine that like Boz has to be ready to shoot real quick because he knows chains. And if you have Lance Henriksen around, you can't guarantee a body shot.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a headshot.
Yep.
Lance Henriksen might just blow your fucking head off, and then that's it.
Right.
But it's all over for Martinez.
But here's the thing: I've eaten a lot of pizza. I can tell if they're, you put a slice in front of me, it's not exactly like, oh, is that like fake cheese or is that not real sauce? Is that like it's gluten free? I can tell by the crust.
Cauliflower crust.
Exactly.
And
And
that's a fucking war crime. Anyway,
similarly, Lance Henriksen would be like, that guy's not dead. I've killed so many people. No, his lips would be bluer. No, his lips would be bluer already. Like he would just notice it immediately.
He's just sniffing the air. He's like, that's not real blood. That's
See,
not. No.
you're totally right, Steve, and that's why I thought this was going to happen. And I was waiting for it. The Boz, right? He just gives like a gentle little kick to Martinez and he falls in the water. And then like you'd see Martinez swim up under the dock and he's got a little snorkel.
Smart.
Because you're right. I mean, there's no fucking blood because it's a bulletproof vest.
Well, there was a little. I thought
He's like, Boz, you're not in until that man is a gourd. I'm sorry.
I'm really
in
into
this
gourds.
biker gang, we turn enemies into gourds.
But I guess the prediction was like, listen, this biker gang is going to kill this guy no matter what. We have to stage this thing to make it seem real.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use a deep dark alchemy to turn him into a gourd of some kind. That's just how that's gonna be.
Let me ask you something there, Stone. Are you ready to milk a man? Are you ready to milk him into a gourd? Because if you're not ready to do that, you're not ready to be part of the Brotherhood, brother.
I'm not welding him into a box and throwing him into the bayou unless he's a gourd. I'll tell you that much. You better bring a
You
gourd.
gotta
here.
check and see if he shit himself because I'll get my blade out.
All right, Stone, did you bring your Eye of Newt to this drug deal? Because otherwise you are not going to be able to cast a spell to turn him into a gourd.
I have good news. We're going to be putting half of our money I have hired Jigsaw to make us new wonderful designs to kill everybody that we decide we want to kill.
Well, if you really need to turn someone into a gourd fest, you need the tail of a lizard. You don't have one of those, do you? It'd be cool if the pet came back somehow.
It's kind of surprising that it's only the one scene
Right.
of
Yeah.
that little fella.
You'd think you could throw it on someone and it starts biting them or something.
Hell yeah. Although this thing looks pretty docile. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a fucking,
if it gets bruised enough, maybe,
lizard person or whatever.
So the mafia is supposed to meet them at a certain location. That's when the FBI is going to get them. But Henriksen's 2 steps ahead. They go somewhere else. And basically they fuck over Bosworth. Bosworth's like, well, that stinks. I'm just going to get on my bike then. Goodbye, everyone.
I might be back later. I'm still part of the gang, doll.
Maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you'll feel different about it tomorrow. Maybe you'll give me more money tomorrow, huh? Maybe.
But in another quick cleanup with this screenplay, like, we're clickety-clack writing this movie, and it's like, we got like 50 fucking barrels of PCP. What are we going to do about that? Oh, we got an idea to fix this real quick, because Boz fucking rolls up on the truck filled with all the drugs.
It's amazing.
Shoots the hydraulic cables from the tractor to the trailer, and this trailer just goes flying into a gas station and explodes. 1, incredible. 2, that's the end of the drug problem.
That's at least one innocent bystander dead, probably.
Oh, definitely.
a
Old
couple.
Mac working at the gas station.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so we also, while this is all happening, we've been hearing hushed things about D-Day. And
Oh, yeah.
this is the funniest thing is they're like, we have to crack the whip. That might have something to do with a guy named Whipperton. Maybe. You don't really know what the whip is, though, until I tell you 20 minutes before this movie ends.
And they all love bragging about it. He's like, no. I'm going to crack the whip, not you.
Well, Josh, as you may have heard, down here in the US of A, last year we had a thing on January the 6th. And all those guys and gals were fucking idiotically gabbing everywhere they
That's
could,
true.
including Gab, about all their fucking dumb ideas and all their fucking seditious nonsense. So I totally buy it that these people be talking about it left and right. You're stoked for it.
I
The
guess.
revolution's here. Here it comes.
Yeah, you're going to be a god in the new regime, right, everyone?
That's right. 30 virgins.
So really quickly, Henriksen reveals that he knows what's up by revealing the Bolivian guy that was supposedly executed. He comes back.
Supposedly deported. We wanted to execute.
Not before hinting that it was Nancy who did it,
Yes.
and really emphasizing betrayal is a bitch.
That's
And then
right.
he looks her in the face, and he goes, "Did you hear that? A bitch."
Oh, man.
And he puts 3
Moments
bullets-
before executing her in the head, mind you, as well. Like, it's
What a great
ruthless.
turn for this movie. I really didn't think, because there's also a brief scene of like, I'm going to take you with me once we figure this all out. And just for her to get a shot right in the forehead and we move on, and Boz doesn't give a fuck. He's like,
Well,
okay.
it's an-
all right.
He's a
an
little
interesting-
upset.
a little
He's a little
upset.
upset, but this is an interesting turn for Stone Cold, right? Because in other movies, right, it's like, I fucking freed this lady.
Yeah.
I'm the knight in shining armor. Now we're going to go off to another part of swamp fuck Florida and have a family together, and it's going to be real gross and whatnot. But this movie is like, no. She's not cool with the fact that he's a cop. She's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Sure.
You're a cop. This disgusts
She's
me.
irredeemable.
I'm a fucking Brotherhood member to the core. I'm one of their old ladies,
Well,
I sucked my way to the top and whatnot. Well, it's true.
Well, don't we
I-
all? Everybody sucks somebody. Isn't that right, Josh?
Yep. Yep.
Just tell me what you want me to fuck, dude. Absolutely.
Well, because it does look like when he shoots her, it like you could almost see it as looks like it wings her. Like you could kind of tell they were
Yes.
like, okay, Later, we'll decide if she's coming back or not. And they're just
You're
like,
totally
nope,
right,
no,
dude.
thank you. We're just
It
Let's
is
give her
we
a
will see
fucked
what
up
the
scar in the hospital
Yeah.
during the closing moments.
like we'll
terrible.
see what the test audience has to say about your survival. And
man.
apparently this woman was just booed and they left her dead.
And then
we're
you know,
going to get the effects people from Freaked to work on you.
Yes.
wow, hell yeah.
Stone Cold could
Hell
visit
yeah,
her in the
Freaked.
hospital and be like, "Well, at least your vagina works. Let's get to it."
I
Pretty
brought
much.
you a Domino's. It's vegetable because you're a lady, and a bottle of Smirnoff as well because you're a lady. So
I brought my friend Gut along. I'm gonna play you a little song.
When Nancy is executed by chains, by the way, Henriksen has a great line. This is where he also like lets the boss know that he is undercover. He goes, "No, Joe Huff, I'm gonna break your heart," and just
Yes.
fucking murders her.
it's
Pretty great line.
It's
And
awesome.
Henriksen.
It's
fucking
kind of a
awesome.
Russian roulette thing because he puts 3 bullets in, he spins, he shoots
Yeah.
the Bolivian guy, then he shoots her, and then he does try to shoot Bosworth, but it's clicks like, well, I guess you're gonna live to see tomorrow, Mr. Huff, and then everyone laughs, and
Yep.
now it's like a Batman thing where he's in a helicopter, chained up. Mac's dad from Always Sunny is flying it, and
Right.
they're going to strap a bomb to him and throw him off. Also, like, by the way, this
Beautiful.
dude is built like Brian fucking Bosworth. There needs to be
Yep.
more dudes in this fucking helicopter if you're gonna do this thing.
Yes.
Or he needs to be dead. Like,
Here's-
that's just it.
What I would do if I kidnapped any kind of beefcake, you shoot him in the arms and the legs,
Thank you.
Yep.
just so it's
Yeah.
a little less mobile. Because
You're throwing no punches. You're delivering approximately
Mhm.
0 kicks.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well,
Hell
Eric,
yeah.
Eric, first you have to milk him to a gourd,
gourd,
and then
yeah.
you can shoot his arms and legs, and then you can put him in the thing.
And this is when
Yeah.
Lance
And
Henriksen.
this is the hardest thing also I have trying to explain to people, which is that a $20 million movie where they blew $5 million on scenes that never make it into the movie has probably one of the biggest 15-minute climaxes of
Yep.
any action movie of its era for seemingly no reason.
yes,
And it's amazing. And every time I'm like, it's for real. I'm not joking you. That's what like they have a real helicopter flying at low levels through streets right by people.
Hell
and
yeah, dude.
cars.
This is fucking movie making,
Yes.
man, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
Buster Keaton fucking dropped a house front on himself. Here we are in this ridiculous action movie
I wanna-
flying a helicopter down the
now I
street.
want to
that's
see
because
Buster Keaton shooting up a courthouse.
Well, that's right before he did that. He looked at his director and he's like, "I'm gonna push the Buster button right now. All right, I'm gonna push, you dropped this fucking house. We're pushing the Buster button, motherfucker. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it."
Hell yeah.
More people should.
Yeah,
do.
you have Boz being strapped with a bomb inside this low-flying helicopter, spraying brake fluid
Yes.
into their faces and
Oh, yeah.
kicking a dude out with the bomb
Yep.
on him. Mid-dummy fall out of the helicopter, it explodes in a wide, long lens shot where you can see Boz is in the helicopter. Some dummy just exploded right next to it. It's insane.
It's glory.
Something that I was noticing this time, the second time I watched it, and yes, Josh, this last 15 minutes is tremendous. Lance Henriksen dresses up like a priest. We'll go beat by beat through it.
Yes.
But like the idea in most action movies, you have to save the district attorney because that's what the point of the thing was. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, either that or you save the girl or you save the hostages. And it's worth noting up front, he does none of
he
those
saves
things.
no one.
Everyone
It's
fucking
a-
dies. It's amazing.
You know who he
full-on
saves?
massacre.
Hang on a second. You know who he saves?
Who's that?
Spoiler alert. He saves Lance Henriksen at the end of this
Oh,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Lance
That's
Henriksen is the
true.
only one left alive at the end of all these shenanigans.
Because like it's like Die Hard, like, you know, like Ellis gets killed, but like everyone else pretty much makes it. You know what I mean? If
Sure.
Bruce Willis, if everyone dies, including his wife, and then he's just like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, you'd be like, well, that's an odd turn for that film. But
all that happens, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and then he doesn't drop Alan Rickman out the window. He surrenders him to authorities.
Well, to be fair to this movie, what was his name? The Sam McMurray does end up shooting Lance
Yes, of
Henriksen.
course.
But
No,
there
no,
is
yeah.
that attempt because he's a cop and he's the good guy. He has to bring someone in to answer for these crimes.
Sure.
I mean,
Well- The one thing, I mean, the way you know that Chains has so much power over all these people is
Yeah.
that thing back with the Bolivia guy happens, like the roulette thing, and he's like, he shoots Boz, it doesn't go off, and then he's like, well, I guess we're going to let him go. And then nobody's like, boss, couldn't we just kill him? I mean, like, it seems like a huge fucking, I don't know why. We can just throw a corpse in with the bomb. You know, why are we doing this?
Because he's a man of honor, man.
I
And
guess
it's like,
so.
look, you beat that round of Russian roulette, dude. You live to see another day.
That and he's not
Henriksen
aboard
is going to
yet.
go, look. We'll let him live, and he won't stop us.
I guarantee you, he won't.
We
stop
will
us.
kill everyone in that building.
Yes,
It will be
don't
fine.
worry. Because that's so like he comes in as a priest. There's
Haircut
a funny
too.
gag.
Haircut.
What-
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he trims down. He's
Committed.
looking like real Lance Henriksen again, and he he gets metal detected. But like, oh, it's my rosary, and it's like, dude, you've got to pat this guy down. Like,
dude,
what
what
that's a Halloween costume.
What steel rosary are you carrying? What is going
It's
on here?
91. You could probably, bring that gun onto an airplane at this point.
True.
So, by the way, crooked criminal, non-sex crime related now.
Sure.
Crooked criminal priests. We got Lance Henriksen in this movie, Nick Cage
Yes.
in the beginning of Face Off.
Oh, yeah.
I love these crooked motherfuckers. The priest as a disguise for some sort of nefarious character.
Yeah, that's the Catholic
Hell
Church.
Yeah, no, I said without the fucking dude.
Well, they have other crimes.
There's
They're
other stuff.
hoarding gold and shit.
Yeah, they're fun.
Oh, that's right.
They're fun.
That's
yeah.
right. They stole so much of my grandparents' money, dude. Worse than when my grandfather got into the fucking credit card scam with the people fishing on the phone.
My God, really?
Oh yeah,
That's
he was
sort of
yeah.
how what was it? Shinzo Abbey went down for a similar reason, right? Because what was
The
that?
Moonies.
Yeah,
the
that
Moonies
church.
were milking them dry.
You gotta watch that calendar, man. That you need 2 more months on the Shinzo Abbey.
I don't
was
know.
looking it up.
Maybe if it was
I was looking it up
closer to
today.
home, perhaps.
Well, I mean, look at it this way, dude. Probably the most successful assassination.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
in the last 75 years.
Sure.
Yeah. And most people in Japan, from what I could tell, are kind of okay with it. They're
That's
just
what I'm
like,
talking about.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, wait a second. The government was like, oh, fuck. They killed our ex-prime minister. Maybe we should rethink our relationship with that fucking church. And they did.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
That guy did
Yeah.
it. I mean, it sucks that
listen.
Shinzo Abe had to perish, but that guy did it.
But so the court is packed asses to ankles with
Hell
people
yeah.
and this district attorney, and district attorney makes his case, and the Supreme Court of Mississippi is like, yeah, we're gonna fucking execute him. 45 years without parole isn't enough. We will now execute this dude. Gavel, gavel, gavel. And Henriksen goes apeshit and starts annihilating everyone.
And the way he gets the party started is fucking poetic justice, dude, because who's the first to go with a machine gun all the way through his back is fucking Martinez.
Yes.
Because that idiot shows up in the courtroom. What are you fucking doing?
Dumbass.
What are you doing, you stupid idiot, Martinez?
And he says something like, this is gonna hurt more than last time or something, and he just fucking annihilates him.
It's like 15 shots at close
Point
range
blank,
with a machine gun to
in the
back.
back, the chest, the squib chest, just
It's like the fucking
flying.
Predator. I mean,
Gorgeous.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's
Worth noting, by the way, Baxley did all of the stunt coordinating for Predator.
that makes so much sense.
good, yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Motorcycles
There we
go into the courtroom. They're throwing shotguns to all their guys, and they are just destroying this courthouse. And you know what,
Oh my
Brian
God.
Bosworth? You probably should have got them at racketeering. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at here. Maybe we should have got him 3 weeks ago.
I see your point, Steve. The mafia could have lived to fight another day.
Yes.
We did not need to fly this close to the sun. We'll say also the entire, as it appears, Mississippi Supreme Court wiped out.
Yes.
Like it's like you're fucking watching Mars attacks. I mean, these people go down.
And, you know,
There is a POV shot down lens of his gun where it's attached, the camera's attached to it while he's just rotating and hitting as many members of the legislature as possible.
And I'm just cheering.
Wild.
I'm just cheering in my thing. Go, Lance. Go do it, buddy.
Mr. Stone Cold has quite a stunt here where he jumps out of the helicopter through like a glass ceiling, falls down, gets up,
onto a marble floor like 100 feet.
and instantly gets up and gets the jump on a guy who was standing in the room with the gun.
Yep.
Yep.
and dispatches him.
Knees and ankles of steel. This guy.
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing. I would be destroyed. I'd be a puddle if I landed from this height.
You'd be a gourd, dude. You'd probably
I
turn
would.
into a
I would
gourd.
become. I would be an instant milked gourd.
Yes. And then we could finally throw you in a fucking lake, Chris.
Unfortunately,
We also get a brief glimpse into Henriksen's childhood, which is another one of the probably best lines in the film.
Yes.
Where who does he shoot in this moment when he
I
goes
think
up
it's
to him? I can't
Whipperton.
remember.
It is.
I think it's
Is it
finally-
Whipperton?
Oh, yes.
It's the death
Yeah,
blow.
and
on
he's like, look, Whipperton, at a moment like this, I think of my father's last words. And he goes, what were those? And he goes, "Don't, son, that gun is loaded."
Yep. And just
Annihilates him.
executes this dude. And if the trivia is to be believed, on IMDb, of course, Lance Henriksen wrote all his own dialogue personally.
Poet,
Mm.
as Josh
I would
says,
believe
a
it.
poet. Just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do also love the Lance Henriksen line, like when shit goes tits up, they're all communicating on a radio, frequency, walkie-talkies or whatever. And he gets on the walkie-talkie and he goes, "Everybody bail, you're on your own." Yeah, and like tosses it, and that's the end of it.
What?
Like, fuck you, the Brotherhood.
Well, that's how you know they are way more coordinated than whatever happened on January 6th. Because he's like, once he finds out that the helicopter is no longer in play, he's like, "Cut it, we gotta go." Like he's just, it's no like, we're going out hard. He's
You're
like,
right.
"Nope, we gotta go."
They could have used a helicopter that day.
Absolutely.
I love bikers. They're tough guys. They turn people into gourds.
Someday I'll figure out what a gourd is.
I had it also a rope that led me down into the Oval Office. I had them put it in. I thought it was a nice touch.
That fucking pig can't climb a rope, man. What are you kidding?
Tiffany, you're a gourd, right? You kind of look gourd-esque.
Right? Yeah, gourds. That's what you call a girl I don't want to have sex with.
You know what, Tiffany?
Right, Tiffany, my daughter.
You kind of look like another Lance Henriksen movie, Pumpkinhead.
All right.
That's him saying, not me.
It's
Sure,
him. I
yeah.
got it. I forgot
Well,
about
also,
it.
I will say,
forgot
if
that.
you replace, it's that Simpsons cold open where they're watching the special people who look like things.
Yeah.
If you replace that guy who's with the jack-o'-lantern with Tiffany Trump, it's there. It's there. Eric's right. It's there.
This is when Gut meets his unfortunate end.
Oh.
Because,
Oh, sure.
no.
by the way,
Oh.
anyone notice that this is the dude from Terminator 2, the biker with the
Yes.
cigar?
Yes,
Is-
Oh,
the older
really?
biker.
Yeah.
That's the guy with
Is
the gun.
Gut?
That says
no,
with
it's the guy who's like he's like,
Mud
anyone
bird.
comes here closer, I'll fucking kill everybody. Blah blah blah. Like he's what going to hell tonight.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like again, Gut is in the room again. Like you're hearing all these gun blasts. He's like, dude, we're going too far. I'm like, Gut, you really should have quit months ago.
Totally, dude. Gut, here's the move, man. Go find some fucking assassinated, court-appointed whatever. Put that dude's suit on and walk right out.
Yes.
Gut, you still trespassed in the Capitol. You ran through the halls. I'm sorry, Gut.
Yes.
You should have just stayed home. You should have just polished the dirt and then waited for all of them to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this is this dude Mud. So you're saying Mudfish is the guy that's in Terminator, Steve?
Mud
Yeah, I think
bird?
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the guy that's thrown onto the griddle at the start. You know, they takes his
Yeah,
clothes.
Oh yes, okay. So this dude, the boss shoots this guy, and this motherfucker flies out the window. God damn! I think you're right, Cabin. I think Yen Wo Ping uncredited for some of the stunts here. The wire work is fabulous.
Just through
It's
windows.
great. Um,
Yeah, and meanwhile, like they're cutting between shots of just like a full-on assault happening outside. Like there are motorcyclists riding into cop barriers and just flying like 50 feet in the air. Stone is both rocking at this point a tactical shotgun and the Magnum.
Yep.
Yep.
And he's taking single shots at everyone in the chest, watching them get pulled by the wires in every which direction. And it results in him shooting this guy through the window, which they cut to a low angle shot of that stunt guy going through the windshield and hood of a car.
Yep.
And it's not a dummy.
Yep.
It's the guy. You
Yeah.
can see him.
It's awesome.
But then,
But he's got the fake beard and everything because he couldn't
Yes.
grow it in time.
right. And then I love the dude who. So Henriksen is on the back of this other guy's motorcycle and he's firing wildly throughout the hallway. It's amazing. And then they come upon the boss and this dude stops. Lance Henriksen gets off the motorcycle and is like, go get him. And this dude fucking floors it. The boss shoots this guy. The motorcycle goes out the window at the end of the hall and flies directly into this helicopter. Holy fucking shit. How do more people not know about this movie?
How did I not know about it till today? My God.
Fuck, I feel like such a fucking failure.
My life has been fucking dog shit. Thanks for
I
letting us
waited
know.
until I was
Josh.
almost fucking 40 years old before I saw this movie. That's unacceptable.
And this is their show.
And you forget about the helicopter is the best part because the helicopter is gone. Like Boz, we forget this part. Like Boz is fighting the guys in the helicopter and just fucks with the driver until the driver nearly runs into the Capitol building and nearly hits all these people in cop cars like on the road on the way there. And he dives from the helicopter through the glass onto the marble floor. That's the last we see of the helicopter until you get what looks like a direct head-to-head showdown duel moment. Like it is like a Western. These guys are about to, something big's going to happen here. And no, he just shoots him off the motorcycle. The motorcycle flies through that window and you're like, oh, another window. Great. And then, the motorcycle is just, or the helicopter. You're like, okay, they just keep every detail. They just keep escalating it as much as they can.
And you see Mac's dad, this AWOL guy, just screaming as this fucking motorcycle is coming towards the helicopter. Oh, man. Incredible. It's incredible.
It really is. It's beautiful. My God.
Man.
The showdown between them is so amazing because it's another moment where
Boz and Henriksen.
So Boz. So the thing we were just talking about with the because he has a shotgun and the guy's got like a bike and like Lance Henriksen's like, go get him, and he's like, he's got a gun. Like he can just shoot me right off the thing. It's gonna take me a little while to drive over there. It's not like I don't got an instantaneous. Okay, I'm gonna die. That's fine. I'm just gonna die now, I guess.
Boss, there's plenty of time on me driving down this long hallway for this guy to pull out a gun and shoot me.
It looks like we might be on the losing side of this one. Chains, my commander. Could we maybe not do this?
The showdown between Henriksen and Bosworth. Henriksen hits every single marble step and you feel it every time.
Dude, he is doing his best fucking Jack Nicholson impression right here, falling down these stairs. Oh my God. It's awesome. And you're seeing the stuntman. You're totally right, Steve. There's the shot. It's like low angle, sort of looking up at the staircase, and you see the stunt guy do at least 3 flips in the one shot, and every single time the back of his head is fucking hitting these marble stairs. Yeah. These guys aren't paid enough. I guarantee it.
No way. Not time, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, like he just, he arrests him and
imagine the future Chains. Yes, because you're not in it.
And then we get the empty gun chamber, just mirroring the previous scene.
Right.
Set up and payoff, baby.
Oh hell yeah! Great fucking screenplay here. Right. And so he's getting arrested and whatnot, and then he goes for this Henriksen goes for this cop's gun. And he's about to kill the boss, and all of a sudden, like it's the fucking end of a certain movie called Blank Hard. The cop who's been a little bit of a fucking wiener the whole movie is the one who murders the bad guy at the end.
Yes, and this shot is
an
great.
Amazing POV shot of Henriksen's corpse flipping to the bottom floor from his eyes as the camera is flipping. You
see the ceiling of the Capitol.
Yes. And then cut to the dummy shot of his corpse actually just like landing on the floor and everything. So that's the funniest part is they give you the moment where the boss gets to be, morally upstanding, quote unquote, where he gets to be like, I'm not just going to point blank execute this dude like he does to other people. But you still get the insanely over the top gratuitous, his corpse gets to just flip and you get the live camera point of view of his corpse flipping.
So good.
I watched this movie again a couple years ago, a couple sheets of the wind, maybe 2 to 3. I didn't remember there's the Michael Clayton ending coming up, dude. Yep. I had no idea that they do a full-on Michael Clayton at the end of this movie where Bosworth just walks out like thinking about what he's done and all this stuff. Like he doesn't get into a cab exactly, but you stay with him as the credits roll and it's beautiful.
It's so awesome. And he is walking out to Sam McMurray, is that his name?
Yes, Sam McMurray.
Playing Lance, the FBI agent.
Because Lance repeats a line that the boss gives to him at one point. The boss is like ready to get into gear or whatever, and he goes, time to turn it on. So the end of the movie, after he kills that guy, he looks at the dude from fucking Jason Goes to Hell, and he's like, time to turn it on. Cue the fucking turdiest fart rock guitar, and that's what he walks out with through these credits. And just through, it was amazing. I'm watching it and I was like, oh, he's still walking.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still walking.
I just want, give me $100 worth, and just sits, like, just, collapses into a cab and just goes.
Just walk.
Just walk.
Yeah, well, and the best part too is he is just drenched in blood and sweat.
Yes.
Heroically descending these pristine white Capitol steps, and as he gets further and further away, obviously you can see more and more of what just happened outside that Capitol building, and people are either one like looking at him in awe, like, wow, that's the guy who just destroyed this entire city. Oh, amazing. And Boz is like, he's just got like the leather vest on, right? So he's like full shirtless and everything. Yeah, just
he's dressed like
incredible.
a biker. Some officer should take him down. Like, oh, we missed one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, how do you know?
There should be at least that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Someone hassles him or something, because you turn around, he's just walking across the lawn. It would be like, hey, there's another one of them. He's casually walking away. He looks very contemplative.
Because remember, I mean, he's an Alabama cop in Mississippi. No one knows who the fuck he is.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, just incredible. What a fucking movie.
Gorgeous.
That's the movie. That's Stone Cold.
Gorgeous movie.
Incredible. Fucking shit.
Incredible.
Man.
We love the movie.
Hell yeah.
Right.
We're gonna, do we applaud?
We do. For this one, we applaud. Thank you, movie.
Tonight I do.
Thank you, movie. You know what? It's season 13. We're applauding. Stone Cold, whatever. But yeah, that is the motion picture Stone Cold. Of course, Josh, we'll throw it to you as our esteemed guest this week on the program. Final thoughts and other maybe Boz recommendations if you've dabbled in the rest of his filmography?
No, honestly, I can't say that I've seen much Boz other than I can recommend, honestly, just going through some interviews and watching the documentary on him, because he is one hell of a character to just watch talk about his. And I think it's a huge appeal of this film, too. Like, he was just a guy who saw himself as an entertainer. And he will say that in every interview you find of him in the 80s and 90s, he would just say stupid shit because he was like, that's great TV. And eventually he made a really cogent argument in his like memoir that college football broadcasting should pay players more. He's like, I brought so many eyes to their channels by just saying the most ridiculous shit I could possibly think of on the day.
Yep.
And that was how he viewed his career. That I think one interviewer even asked him straight up, like, did you ever in college like do any acting? And he was like, not off the field, like not Romeo and Juliet, but I did my hair. I wore the craziest outfits I could think of. He even sold his own hate shirts, so the people who hated him were buying them off his website.
Beautiful.
Like,
that's amazing.
Like, this was just his persona, and in this film you can, I think, see him carrying himself like he's already a megastar. He knows how to play to the camera. He has an absolute blast with it, and who knows, I don't get to see, I mean, he didn't get much of a career. I wish I could actually find more of his stuff even just on Blu-ray to get a feel of what the rest of his career looked like. But if this was the only thing he did, he should be proud of himself, because this is like just absolutely trashy, generic and moronic in like the best ways possible, and also tough and economical and genuinely like well crafted and physically rendered by Baxley and the other ways. So it's just an absolute blast, and it's one of my all-time favorite films to show people and just see reactions to every ludicrous, greasy detail to it. And every scene's got something to hoot and holler at, and especially, again, the insanely huge, bloody, explosive, again, political massacre finale where he does not save the girl, the DA, or I don't think a single hostage. Like, I actually think they massacre pretty much everyone in the building, and it's just a mesmerizing montage of like burning corpses and dudes on wires going through glass and motorcycles flying into helicopters. Like, you have never seen dummy work and squib work, as expensive in a movie that was as cheap as this. It's actually mind-blowing.
Steve Sadak.
Yeah, I love this movie. It's my second time through. Actually, I watched it again today. I watched it 2 nights ago. And I was like, I'm just gonna watch it again. And I never do that for this show.
You got sucked in, dude.
Because I was like, it's just sort of like, it's been 2 days. And it is such an I'm glad I did, because it does rev you up, especially about to talk about it. It's so experiential, this movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's the act of watching it and just having your jaw to the floor. I even think after if you listen to this first and then you watch it, you will still be stunned by this movie, and
Absolutely.
just by the performances and some of the shot choices and just the action, the way it's edited and paced. It's fantastic. A hearty recommend.
Chris Cabin.
Oh yeah, I'm going to underline everything that both Josh and Steve said. It is just a showcase for economic, as Josh said, economic filmmaking, but also like movies like this, you usually do have downtime. You are more interested in drama, and like this is not. And like I that really does lighten everything up. It makes everything pop more. There's no down moments in this movie for a second. And I got to do this before, and it helped us out. It helped me out at least to get the Black Hat special director's cut. If somebody knows where I can get Kurt Wimmer's One Man's Justice, which is another Boz title, if anybody has this, get in contact with me. DM me. My DMs are open. I need to see this thing because I'm a completist as well. So I've seen Equilibrium and I've seen the Ultraviolet. I need to finish the Wimmer canon, and this is out of it. But this movie,
see what him and Boz cooked out.
Yes, I need to see it. I need to know what it is. And MC Hammer as a drug dealer. I mean, come on, I need to see this fucking movie. But yeah, Stone Cold, fantastic, wonderful time.
Send Chris that file if you're on fucking Karagara or whatever that website is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I gotta see.
place.
I need the question answered that is in my head. Does he have parachute pants on in that movie?
I do.
Eric Siska.
No, I love Chris's ending there because it's sort of like, Robert Stack on Unsolved Mysteries being like, there are still Brian Bosworth movies out there. And if you've seen one, please contact us. I'm not going to add to anything that anyone's already.
We need to revive them all from the VHS trash bin of history.
We really need to do that. But just jumping off of what everyone else already said, I think everyone has already said it very well. It's an action masterpiece, and it's a masterpiece because it only cares about action. So if all you care about is action, you'll have a good time with it. If you're looking for anything else, you're not going to find it. But I don't care today. I loved this movie.
Hell yeah. I will just add, our friends at Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow. Hey, Arrow, you put out that fucking Sartana set. How about a Boz set?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Let's get all the Boz movies together. And I know at least I'm buying it.
That's one.
Yeah, there you go. So you're already making your money back. No, I don't know. This was fucking great. And, who knows? Maybe the rest of the movies are, maybe this is an anomaly and the rest aren't great. But who knows? I do want to seek them out. Anyway, total recommend. Josh, thank you for picking this because I finally watched it. You were the one that selected this, and it's been floating around for ages. I'm glad we finally did it. Sir, take us home. Plug whatever you got. Where can folks find your work on the internet?
Yeah, obviously anyone can find me over at Twitter and Letterboxd at the Josh L. I'm always reviewing new stuff, and I'm about to gear up to go to the Toronto International Film Festival, where I'm about to cover a whole bunch of films there, writing a little bit in CinemaScope. I'm very excited because I don't know if you guys know this, there is a John Hyams Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning director slasher written by Kevin Williamson. Wow. I will be at the world premiere and writing for CinemaScope magazine about it. So look forward to that. I hope it's as good as I've heard from Peter Kaplowski, who's the programmer there.
Oh, nice.
He came on our show recently. I do a podcast, Sleazoids, genre and exploitation film double features. Obviously, we've had a round table who's who of guys on this show have also guested. I think Steve was the most recent who's been on. He brought with him, actually, speaking of another hugely underrated 80s action film, he brought The Hidden with Kyle MacLachlan, which I had never seen.
Oh, I still got to get to it.
You have watched it? Oh my God.
Oh, it's cool. Fun. It's a little eerie too. I enjoyed that one.
I like eerie.
But the action in
that
movie
and speaking of successful political assassinations in action films.
Okay.
Obviously Sleazoids do genre and exploitation double features. Anyone interested in this kind of film? And also I pitch this film to people sometimes, trying to get them to get the tone with other films we've covered, things like Raw Deal or Cobra or like kind of in that realm. And we just talk every week, all things genre and exploitation. So if you like that kind of stuff, I don't know. We recently did a bunch of stuff on cyberpunk. We did the highs and the lows. We did Blade Runners, and we did New Rose Hotel by Abel Ferreira, and we did like Decoder and Liquid Sky. So check us
Liquid
out at that
Sky,
kind of
hell yeah.
Yes.
One of the
great
fucking
film.
best apartments in sleazy New York indie cinema. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Just filthy movie.
Have a good time at TIFF, man. I know you're going to have a blast.
Thanks.
I'm fucking pissed I'm not there this year, but next year I'm going to get back on track. But anyway, here at We Hate Movies, of course, if you want more content, patreon.com/We Hate Movies. We got a lot going on this month. We got LOTR, The Two Towers. We're doing that on We Love Movies. Steve, we're talking about a very controversial episode of Tailspin on this episode of AD this month.
Last Horizons, I think it's the one that's been taken off Disney Plus, but you can buy it off Disney XD, where it's a racist panda Asian scenario. It's not really worth watching, but I think the episode we did on it was pretty super.
Exactly. It was great fodder to talk about something that no one should ever watch. Eric Siska over on the Gleep Glossary. What's going on this month?
The Gleep Glossary, this is our Star Wars Shide Show, if you don't know, where we talk about random Star Wars characters. And this month we're doing Weequay, very small character, and I'm kind of trying to break the show, seeing how far I could stretch the seams before it really pops. So I think we kind of get there this month.
He's to the edge there, folks. He's stretching the Stretch Armstrong as far as you can get it.
Exactly. If you want to hear me and Chris fight each other, that's basically the show for you.
Now, sorry, fake fight, because people get upset on the internet and whatnot.
It's
I'm sorry.
It's like public.
Don't do
No, don't do that again. You got to wait for the episode. Don't give it away for free. So that's all the Patreon stuff. And then here on the main feed, of course, next Tuesday, another episode continues as the show rolls on. Season 13 is just getting underway. Steve Sadek, what's happening next Tuesday?
It's not going to be an effusive love fest like this week, because we'll be doing Shrek Forever After. Back to the Shrekiverse.
That's
I've
right.
never seen this one. I will watch it once, and you'll hear that reaction.
I have
How about
not-
that?
One more into the breach.
I have not seen this one,
man.
and I'm excited to revisit the swamp because I detest it.
I am not. I'm not excited at all.
Yeah, that's fucking great. So until next week, where we're just fucking slopping it up with Shrek for a fourth fucking time, I'm Andrew Chupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
And Josh Lewis.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.